We're live. Hi, and welcome to Gay Out the City. I'm your host, Prince Electro Diamond, and today I am here with go-go dancer B Baby. How you doing today, sexy?
Hey, I'm doing great. How about yourself?
I am good. Loving it. Work.
Nice.
So, where are you originally from?
Well, I'm originally from the Bronx, baby. Boogie Down Bronx.
Yes.
Yes, but I was raised in Polk County, Florida. So I'm a little bit of a country bumpkin myself.
See, man. I've lived in Florida my whole life. I'm planning on moving this year because I can't. Florida's not it. Like,
Nice. Where in Florida?
I'm originally from South Florida. I'm living in South Florida now.
Okay, all right for the
Yeah,
South Florida.
yeah.
Nice.
But as I said, I'm moving like polar opposite when I leave Florida because it's too hot. Like,
Yeah, I mean it has its little heat waves at some point. I feel like sometimes Florida trying to kill us because some days it's a little cold, some days it's a little hot. So
exactly.
I don't like it's trying to kill me, man.
That's why I'm moving like literally about as far north as you can get and still like be in continental Florida. I'm planning on moving to Detroit.
Oh shit! Oh, in Detroit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh baby, you gonna love the cold over there. Well, that's one thing. I'm a very tropical kind of person, so you always gonna see me in the heat because usually the cold is just not my forte. That's why I had to leave New York and all that stuff. And yeah, nah, I can't deal with that. Oh, hell no.
Well, my thing is, I looked at it when I tell people there's a few reasons. One, I say Detroit is like the only affordable city in the United States currently. Like, everywhere else is like way too expensive. And then the other thing is I'm a musician and I'm planning on putting out an album this year and I figured Detroit's the perfect place to like I
Nah.
have the album, I have everything written. I just need to go into a studio and record. That's literally
Oh shit, that's what's up. That's what's
yeah.
up. That's good. Shoot, well, I mean, if you need a studio, I mean, my brother is a producer, so.
Work. That's I know I was saying it's like and now what I tell people is like Detroit's not what people think. It
Mm.
is everyone when everyone thinks of Detroit, they think about like Detroit from the 80s and 90s. I'm like, seriously, no, Detroit's up and coming. Like,
Oh man, yeah, nah, that's one thing people gotta understand. Like, you can't sleep on somewhere that, of course, it's gonna come up. That's how Polk County was back in the day. Like, it was just nothing but trees and fields and cows and chickens, and now it's building its own little brand. So I'm like, oh, okay. And especially when I go and visit my family and such, and everything is it's basically super different. And especially like here in Orlando, where I currently live,
yeah.
it used to be nothing but fields and orange groves and such. Now it's like its own big populated city. I'll call it Little New York or some shit. So
Well, this is the thing. I lived in Orlando for 4 years, so like I kind of know it. My thing is like, as I say, I had my man wanted to move there, and like I told him I've lived in Orlando twice. I'm like, two times you learn after the second time, like, no,
oh
this ain't from me. Like,
yeah, like I think I definitely learned my second time. I mean, but my man is a Orlando native, so there's no way I'm gonna be leaving Orlando anytime soon. And I
yeah.
thought about it. Yeah, I thought about leaving Orlando and going back to New York, but yeah, I'm stuck. I'm stuck now.
You can always convince it. That's what I did. Like, because he said he wanted to move to Orlando, then all of a sudden he's like, he started getting like super serious with me. He's like, now I'm gonna move to Detroit. I'm thinking like, bitch, because this is the thing. He's not only a go-go dancer, but he's also a rapper. I'm like, you want to be a rapper and move to Orlando? Like,
Oh
I'm
shit.
literally I'm literally moving to like one of the rap capitals of the United States. Like,
Oh yeah. No,
this is
absolutely.
yeah, this is Detroit. Yeah,
I'll say Detroit probably has some more gigs, even dancing. I mean, you never know. I mean, Orlando has its spots. It's just now, like back in the day, you had variety of gigs and stuff, but now it's like it's very limited, and you got to go to other cities to do your shit.
Well, of course, because like the solid place where people could work closed during the pandemic, which was Parliament House. Like,
Hmm. Yeah, and then they try to they try to go ahead and substitute that and have gay clubs like around downtown area and everything. But now, I'll say like a little bit before the new year, that's when I don't know what happened. I think it was because of change of management or anything. But they just started kicking us out or having our little gay, our gay nights kicked out and everything. So now different venues, everybody's moving around. So it's kind of like
yeah.
everybody's still trying to adapt to the new places.
Well, I mean, I will say this. I haven't offered this to a go-go dancer, but girl, if you ever want to work in Fort Lauderdale, I might be able to help you.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And I know everybody keeps telling me to dance in Fort Lauderdale, either Fort Lauderdale or Miami, and either they give me, they even refer me, somebody's hitting me up, and then I'm always on the go. So it's kind of like you got to catch me at a good time, and I'm just like, okay, well, definitely, I'll lock it in.
Yeah. So, what was it like for you growing up as a kid?
Growing up as a kid, man, where can I start? Where do I start, man? One thing I can't say, I did grow up as a beautiful fairy. I ain't gonna front. I'm not gonna front, but I would say that growing up, moving from New York to Florida, it was kind of, I ain't gonna go ahead and be, having these little moppy little stories and be like, oh my God, I had a tough little life. Like, no, we were some badass kids. We were some badass kids in Polk County. And either we were either fighting, it was tough, or like it was just a whole lot of shit that we end up seeing. But I was one of those like black sheeps, of course. I was the gay little boy, and I don't know. I mean, even growing up, I was very DL. I was stupid DL. I didn't want nobody. I really didn't want nobody knowing my sexuality at the time because in Polk County they were very close minded. Um,
Right.
and especially like if they find out you were gay, you will either you get beat up, bullied, or murdered. And I've seen that so many times over there. So, um, but I mean, I still have my good times. Of course, I had my ordinary childhood, hang out with all my friends in the cul-de-sac, playing playing baseball, football, basketball. We'll play manhunt. Um, just a whole lot of shit, especially during the summertime. We'll always sneak out of the house and be chilling with the girls. We, going to hell, even going to house party. We thought we were grown back in the day, and especially with me and my brothers, like we will sneak out their house, go straight to like the grown ass parties. My first drink was like hypnotic. Yeah, hypnotic. I wasn't even close to the big heavy drinkers like Hennessy or whatever the fuck. Yeah, I'm thinking hypnotic was the Hennessy of my life. I'm like, oh my God, because I was already fucked up. Um, it was a great. I can't say it was a. I mean, it was a great adventure. My childhood was wild. I ain't gonna front. Like a lot of people be like, "Oh my God, but you're so nice. You're this." Oh no, I was a badass little kid back in the day.
See, that's the thing where it's like you were kind of like a wild kid. I was a little bit more calm. And then as I just say, I rebelled like as I got like older and then like
Mm-hmm. I mean, when like sociable wise, I was an introvert. I really didn't know
same.
how to like communicate with people thoroughly or even spark up a conversation. Usually, I would have to have somebody first talk to me, and then I'll interact or whatever the case. Now I'm starting, and especially as a dancer, I'm started to now get out of that comfort zone and be an extrovert and whatnot. So people are like, "Oh, but you're B baby Lindo, whatever." And I'm like, boy, once I get off that stage, when I get off that box, I'm ordinary. I'm very just like still to myself, you know.
Well, that's
So
because
yeah.
those are people who never understand. Like, entertainers are not like that unless they're entertaining or they're with people. Like, this is the thing. Even as a drag queen, I'm the bitch who's like, I won't go up to you and start a conversation, but like, trust, like, I know you're gonna be staring at me. Come up and talk to me. I'm not.
Yo,
I,
literally, they get
I
intimidated.
yeah.
They
Well,
just
I'm
get so
also
intimidated.
also like, and I don't mean this in a mean way. You're like cute and like tiny and all this. I'm a big ass fucking bitch. Like,
Hey man, I mean, there'll be so many times where I'll go ahead and I start, and then I'll see other people, and I guess they're so used to the other dancers, or just being all get away from me or whatever the fuck. And me, I'm just they get so surprised whenever I'm like, oh, come party with me, da 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 da. We're having a great time, and they're just like, oh well, I thought you were. I had one person tell me just out of nowhere, just because of my demeanor at times. They're like, I really thought you were a bitch, just to my face. But they're like, but getting to know you, I really love the fuck out of you. And I'm like, I didn't know how to react to it, but I was like, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. I mean, for
okay,
sure.
this is where I'm gonna defend you. Let me explain why B Baby's got to act like that. Because if you're too like calm and chill and like all of this, and you don't have a little bit of an intimidating thing, people are fucking assholes. Like,
Oh, yeah.
people are
Oh,
fucking
yeah.
assholes. Like, if you are the wrong way, that's the bitch who's like, when B Baby's up there in a thong, they're gonna be like, all of a sudden he's gonna bend over, and that's when they're gonna try and stick their fingers in his ass.
Oh,
Like that.
yeah. Yeah. Like, there was this one time I had this guy. Like, this guy used to be like a great tipper, and it was just one Saturday. I guess he got like very very comfortable. I don't know what the fuck. I end up doing like this cute, of course I do my cute little tricks or whatever on the box and shit, and he just came out of nowhere and tried to put his whole face in my ass. So the first initial thing, I'm just like, listen, that's already my no area. I don't give a fuck. So I already had these like cute little combat boots, and I had to go ahead and I had to stomp him in his face. And his friend was like, "Oh my god, I'm so sorry. Can I tip you? Can I tip you, please? I don't mean for him to be so nasty." And then you just see the guy like mad embarrassed with a whole little like boot mark on his face. But I was just like, dude, like you can't take advantage of me, and especially, I mean, you can't take advantage of any dancer because you don't know what you're gonna walk into. We a little feisty, yeah. But
Nope.
you got to. It's true though what you say. Like you
Yeah.
got to sometimes because a lot of people, especially when you get friendly, when you start to get friendly with them, that's when they start taking advantage of it,
Yeah.
and especially when they're drunk, they get very obnoxious.
Yeah.
So that is true.
Yes, and I will say this, like, I'll point this out, like, I fuck with this bitch. Like you do that whenever I'm in a place, like, trust, I will cuss you out. Like,
Yeah,
I will flat out, because like, this is the thing. Don't nobody do that shit to my friends. Like, nobody,
like that's it. It's a
like,
wrap. Like the fuck? What is you doing? You look
yeah.
crazy. You look absolutely crazy. So I mean, yeah, no, and it's just weird. It just be weird sometimes. I mean, there's some people that are very entertaining and whatnot, but just don't go down there. Just don't get crazy.
Yeah, I've heard stories about that, by the way. And it's like, I'm like, first of all, it's like, yes, not gonna lie, your ass is hot, but like, still, it's like, But it's like, seriously, it's like he's been up on this dance floor, literally probably like sweaty as fuck, and like that's
Yo,
when you gonna try and go in, like.
yo, no, and I ain't got the time. Absolutely fucking not. And especially like there'll be times where, what is it? I wouldn't want my man to even see that either. Like for them to be, touchy feely or whatever, because just, I'm very mindful for that shit. And especially, I don't just, it'll be one case, just worst case scenario if my man was to be over there and then they see that and it's just like, nah, I'm not with it. And then that's over for them.
Because that's not part of the gig. Like you have conversations
Mm-hmm.
with your man.
Yeah.
Like I just had to. I was with him on Saturday, and I'm like, okay, so let's be clear, because I wanted to see like where my line is. It's like, okay, do you understand that I am allowed to do this, this, and this,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't have a right to be jealous? Like, if I'm as a musician, if I make out with a backup dancer, that's not me cheating on you. That's me putting on a show. Like, it's that kind of like
Oh
thing you have to
shit.
understand.
I mean, if that was the case, well, if my man did that, I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to cut his ass. I'm a crazy
Well,
ass
well,
bitch for my man.
is your man a performer?
No, he's a musician. Yeah, he's a musician, and he goes touring. He tours all over, so he's been all over the countries and such. And so I mean, I get it. I get the whole musician life and whatnot, and I have patience for him. Just like he has patience for me, I have patience for him, and like we just understand each other because we just know the nightlife.
Well, okay. Let me put it this way: does your man wear clothes?
Oh hell yeah,
Well, that's the thing. I walk around in fishnets, like anyone. I walk around
yeah.
in fishnets and a bodysuit and like a thong. Like my man should expect that. Like
No, that's right.
I'm a little
Shit,
bit.
that's my motherfucking ass. Nice little thong, nice little cute little boots and all that. It shows a little body
Yes.
and curves and that's what makes him like he just gets me. So he's just like, listen, I know guys are gonna go ahead and they're gonna try to be fresh with you or whatever, but I don't. He learns to understand that. Because I had other exes that they're like, yeah, this is how I met you, and they seem supportive and whatnot, but really they're not. Low key, they don't. They're just like, oh my god, it hurts me inside. So
So stupid. Anyways,
yeah, it's corny. It's corny, but with him, he's a great supporter. Like he supports everything that I do, so I appreciate that.
that's beautiful. So, what was it like for you coming out?
Oh baby, let me say, I can't say it was very relieving. But I was super scared, and especially again, like, I mean, living in a household, with my dad being Puerto Rican, my mom is Dominican, and I really thought, honestly, I really, really thought that my mom would be the one to be so, harsh on me. Um, but of course, it was just me and my dad. Like me and my dad, we went back and forth all the time. So it's kind of like a up and down relationship with me and my dad. It's kind of more of a roller coaster. I mean, I love him and everything, but he knows where's his place at when he tries to cross the line and shit with me. With my mom, she was more upset. She was pissed off because she wanted to know, and she wanted to be the first one to know. So she was like, "Why did you tell me? Why did you, whatever?" And I'm just like, I didn't know how you were gonna react, and I didn't know if you were gonna kick me out the house or whatever. But yeah, and then when it came to my siblings, it was very awkward too because um with them, like they knew they just wanted to like really like get in my business, like confirm it and such, but they were just waiting on me to come out. And when I finally had the strength to go ahead and just, hey, this is how I was, it was a little awkward. Like one of my brothers, My sister-in-law went ahead and boosted it and told him, but I went ahead and told her to tell him, so then I could kind of have like that leeway to, okay, well, it's time for me to come out, come out. And he was like, me and my brother is very close, so I was taking a shower, and he just comes in, he locks the door, and he goes, uh, "Hey, so is there something you want to, tell me?" And I was just like, my heart was just racing. Like, I can hear it. I can feel it in the bottom of my ass. Like, I was just like, oh my God, I didn't know how to react to it. But I was like, so I was even stuttering. I was just stuttering so bad. And then I finally got to tell him, and he accepted it. Like, everything was cool. My other brother, he's very ignorant. So he's just like, oh, you're gay? Oh, okay, whatever. Like, he was just like, okay, you're gay. I don't really give a fuck. I don't care. As you're my brother. My sister, she fell in love with it. She was just like, oh my God, I got a gay brother. We're gonna be best of friends and all this shit. And then like my oldest brother, which he's like, this boy's a certified gangster. So I was very intimidated to like let him know, because I was just like, I don't even know how to feel about it. Like, this is my oldest brother. He probably might whoop my ass for all I know. And it was just so weird. I was in the back of his car. We were in a Texas trip, and we were going to see him because he was getting married. And he just came out of nowhere and just let me know how it was. And he was just like, hey, I don't care what you do. I heard, I know. I just wanted you to tell me, and just keep it 100 with me. But I accept you for who you are. You're my little brother. I'm not gonna just disown you because of your sexuality and such. So like my family was good, but let's get to the friends. So
Yeah.
that one was more, I would say, more interesting because, how can I put this? So it's not even necessarily my friends that I was worried about. It was more of like my brother's friends. And it's only particular brother of my brother's friends or whatever. They were they were trying to like tease me, and oh, look at the little gay boy, da, 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 whatever. And then comes to find out you're gay as fuck. Like, right when we get older, now all of a sudden you're sliding through my DMs and trying to get to know. And I had a feeling. I just had a feeling. And I was just like, man, I don't know how to tell my brother this, that his friend is gay.
Yeah.
Um, it was just very awkward. Like, I don't know. It was just kind of weird for me growing up and just coming out, because usually I was just a very DL boy. Like, even like the just being myself, like moving into Orlando, that's when I really came out. I was just like, now I'm just like, hey boo. I was
Yeah.
like, hey boo, what's going on? But in Polk County, I was very just to myself, like any other guy out there. But in Orlando, I'm very, I've learned, I learned the style, I learned all this shit, and here I am right now.
Yeah. See, friends for me. Well, the one person I came out to is actually weird. The first person I ever came out to is my best friend, because like we actually came out to each other. So like
Hi,
that was, yeah, that
nice.
was nice. That was easy. Family was easy because
Mhm.
my family's kind of small. I would say in some ways I'm fortunate because I only had to come out to one parent, because I came out
Mhm.
4 months after my mom died. So it's only having to
Oh
come out.
man, condolences.
Thank you. So it's
You're
only
welcome.
having to come out to my dad. And then I have an older sister who was super accepting. Now, fast forward to, I haven't gotten into this part. Fast forward to many years. I saw my sister get married. All of a sudden, in
Yeah.
November, I look, my sister has her maiden name again, and all of a sudden she's posted a bunch of rainbow shit. And I'm like, Then she's
Oh,
like, I'm queer. I'm like, okay, well now that makes sense. And I'm thinking,
okay, girl. Shit,
I,
dude.
I'm I'm thinking, bitch, you welcome. I laid the passport. No, I'm kidding.
I know that's right. I know that's right. Oh my god, that was like the same with my sister. Like, I didn't even. Well, she when she was younger, and we were all sitting down in the kitchen, and like I don't know where it just came out of nowhere. Like she just came out of nowhere, and just like, mom, I like girls. Just out of nowhere. My mom was just like, you like girls? What do you know that you like girls? Like she just started freaking out. So I'm just like, oh shit, like I didn't know what the fuck was gonna happen after that. But she, I think she was like one of the reasons as to why I was just like not afraid to even come out to, because then she came out, she was doing her shit, then I came out doing my shit. Now I'm Bobby Lights
Yeah.
to her Trina, like she's like, I'm Bobby Lights to her Trina, like
Yes.
but yeah, it's been a very interesting journey. I can't say
Yeah.
that about coming out.
This
Oh my
was
god.
this was the good part. We have to take a turn for the bad. So so I came out to a youth minister at the church
Oh shit.
and I told him about this performance idea I had with like a knife and how I'd practice stabbing myself because I'm
Mm,
dramatic,
yes.
obviously. And he left the room. He came back in about 10 minutes later. He said, okay, you have one of two options. Either you're coming with me or I'm calling the cops.
Get the fuck out of here. For what though? Oh.
Because he thought I was suicidal. So now
Oh.
now in hindsight, I would have let that motherfucker call the cops because I'm like the cops wouldn't have done anything to me. But
Yeah.
instead I went with him. He took me to get a psych eval.
Hmm.
They told me I passed it, and like I was on the phone with my dad. I'm like, yeah, just come back here and get me. I'm ready. And then all of a sudden, I had a cop yell at me. He's like, get off the phone. I'm thinking like, what the fuck? Like,
Oh
what's going
my
on?
god. And then hold on, and this is your pastor? Like
This
talking?
was this youth. No, this was a cop who yelled at me.
Oh, damn,
Uh,
but why is he talking to you like that, like all crazy?
I
Oh,
don't I don't fucking know. Like
no.
I'm like that's yeah, it was crazy. And then like they stuck me in a hospital room, and then they didn't. Nobody told me anything for 5 hours. They just
Oh
left me in
my
there.
gosh. Yo, that had to be like, that just had to be so depressing to like have you locked up for 5 hours. Just like, what the fuck am I supposed to do for 5 hours? Oh,
Eh,
Jesus.
no, it was longer than 5 hours. This
Oh,
is
shit. So that's the.
so so
That's,
like then they told me what they do in Florida, which is called Baker acting, when they put you on a
oh,
72-hour
yeah.
suicide hold.
Yeah.
And then I got transported in an ambulance to a behavioral clinic where I didn't do the full 72. I did. Oh, technical difficulties. Hold on. Oh,
Oh,
there we go.
okay. I'm
Yeah.
back.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
God. I had
All
somebody
right.
blowing on my phone. I had to put them on Do Not
Yeah.
Disturb.
Anyway, not a problem. So anyway, yeah. So I did 64 of the 72. I would have gotten let out earlier, but my ass was brought in on a weekend, and like the weekend psychiatrist had something
Ooh,
against me. I
hold
don't know what,
on.
because he was
I
like playing with
think
knives.
I can't hear you now. Hold on
Shit.
one sec. Oh man, hold up.
What?
Let me see. Let me see if I have to just refresh it. Hold on. Let me see.
Okay. Technical difficulties. Okay.
Yeah, okay. And I hear you.
Yeah. You can hear
Okay.
me now, right? Yeah.
Perfect. Yes.
Okay. So what was I saying? Anyway, oh, I was saying I didn't have to do the full 72, but the
Oh,
but
okay.
but the therapist was making me feel guilty, like the weekend psychiatrist, because he's like, playing with
Mhm.
knives is dangerous. I'm like, I know that. Like, I knew
Well,
what I
we
was
know that
doing.
as common sense.
Yeah.
Oh my
And like
God.
and like when I got to the weekday psychiatrist, he had like 1 week session with me, and then he's like, let me go. But of course, not
Yeah.
over. So then like a week later, I was in a room with a priest and the youth minister who set me up with a therapist
What the fuck? Oh
who tried
shit.
to pray the gay away.
Oh God. Yo, yeah, I don't know how many times I had somebody try to either, especially in church, where somebody was trying to convert me or just had a problem. I don't know. And then I did meet someone that I really thought like, oh my God, like we could be really great friends. And he was a pastor. I think he's still a pastor. Um, but he's such a great guy. That's one thing about him. Like he did got me through a lot of guidance and stuff. While being a youth leader. Um, but when he was telling me about like all, how he was in a relationship with a guy and all this stuff, and I was just like, oh my God, like I could probably learn something from you. But then me leaving out of Polk County to go to Orlando, and like we follow each other on Facebook and whatnot. Now I guess like he went to the whole converting and getting married to a woman and all this other kind of stuff. Like, hey, there's nothing wrong with that. You can go ahead and do what the fuck you want. But then I was like, oh damn, like now you just I miss my gay best friend now. I miss my gay best pastor. Shit, but I mean, damn. I don't know, but I feel like majority of the time, you're in church. There. That's where you're gonna find the most gay people. That's
That's
some
the
shit.
thing. That's the thing. He's married to a woman and like trust his woman thinks her man's always there. Meanwhile, every time he goes on a work trip,
Mhm.
he's probably in a hotel room with some dude.
Right? He getting pegged, baby. He getting pegged. He loves to swallow. Whatever. I mean, I'm telling you, it's majority of the time it's always those pastors, and it's majority of the time it's always the ones that always are against gay people all the time. Because I'm like, "Look, it's because y'all don't know how to express your sexuality. Because majority of the time, straight if you're really a true straight guy, you would be comfortable in your own sexuality. You wouldn't care to be around us or
Exactly.
like you just know like even my brothers are very comfortable in their sexuality. They're straight and they hang out with all my friends. Like they're cool. Like
Yeah.
so I don't be understanding, I don't be understanding sometimes the heterosexuality community. I don't know.
See, I don't get to y'all dudes. There are like
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I didn't there were times like the craziest part is when someone's woman this has only happened to me a few times where like the woman will all of a sudden get the dude's phone and like all of a sudden start texting me and he's like, well, this is da da da's girlfriend. I'm like, block. I'm like, I ain't answering you now. Like,
Hey, like, what am I supposed to do with that problem? Well, first of all, I didn't even know he had a girlfriend.
yeah, that's
That's
my thing. It's like, baby, I didn't do anything with your man. I just showed him pics of my ass in a thong. Like that's all that I did. Like,
oh yeah, yeah. I mean, but that ain't not a problem. She needs to go ahead and handle her man. That has nothing to do with it.
yeah, I just like mess. I mean, granted, when I moved to Florida, or when I moved to Orlando, I experienced everything because like,
Oh, yo, me too. Oh my God. I think like right when I moved here, I saw it all, and yeah. I mean,
which
it. you get the pro and you get the con, and regardless, anywhere you go. But yeah, I learned a lot
Well,
of shit
well,
here.
okay. Which part of Orlando are you in?
Well, I live right now. Currently, I live with my boyfriend, and we live like a little near Apopka now. Um,
Oh, okay.
but I used to live like deep in Cimarron Boulevard in the airport by the airport area.
Oh, okay. So like, let me just tell you. This will just tell you the shenanigans I used to get into.
Hmm.
I used to live when I lived in Orlando primarily. I used to live between Paramore and Westmoreland.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh baby, Westmoreland. Oh my God, that is the hood, baby. You
Yep.
go straight to that 7-Eleven store. What? Well, now they closed it down. I don't know if it's because of the inspections or some shit, but oh my God, like ain't don't nobody go to that store, especially late at night, because you just don't know. But yeah, um, that's the hood.
Yeah, that's why my sister asked me when I moved into the hood. She's like, "Why would you want to live in the hood?" I'm like, "Cause I can afford to live there." Like,
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. If the price is good, the price is good,
yeah,
and it, it's gonna help you save you a coin at least temporarily. Why the fuck not? You know, as long as you're not getting hurt, you're not mugged, you're not none of that. I mean, it is what it is.
and plus I was with like 1, 5, 10 black guys. Don't get no.
Oh shit! I know that's right.
That was where like when I moved to Orlando, that's when I first like started having sex, and like white guys were scared to come into my neighborhood. So like I had no
Oh
problem being.
man. Oh no! I mean, shoot. I mean, what's your type?
um Big dick. No, I'm kidding. Oh.
Hell, I mean, shit, don't get me wrong. That's first in my criteria.
I mean, this is the thing. I am now versed. Like I now enjoy being versed. Like
Oh shit.
so like that was my man's fault because my man came over here one time and he was like,
Hmm.
because my thing was I tried topping before, but I didn't enjoy it, and then like all of a sudden like he was over here chilling. I live at home. My dad was gone, and I stuck my man into my dad's place, and he spent
Oh.
the night. So like,
Oh shit. Okay.
so like he was just like we were just like chilling on the couch, and like all of a sudden, without telling me, he just like started sucking my dick, and I'm like, well, I'm not gonna stop you from doing it. And then like
Hell yeah.
he lubed it up, and then like when he sat on it, he started riding it, and then all of a sudden I was just like sitting there and I was expecting nothing to happen, like what I do usually with topping, and then like all of a sudden
Yeah.
he's like, you just came. I'm like I did.
Not the no feeling. I know that's right. I mean, shit. Well, I mean, I've been a verse all my life, so it just depends. Yeah, it just depends who I'm dealing with. Like, either you're a bottom, hey, I'm your top, and if you're a top, I guess I'm your bottom, or whatever. But I don't know. I like to experiment. So, like, if they are a top, I'm gonna be like, I'll try my best to, persuade and be like, just come bottom, just bottom one time. Like, you be good. And I think that's the problem with being a verse is you just like you try to control it, but it's just you have those tendencies and just be like, okay, I need my dick slurped or I need my ass ate out, and that's it.
That's my thing. That's what I say. I say that to men. Like, granted, my man does it all the time, but it's like this is my thing with hooking up. It's like this is just a simple rule I'm gonna say. If your dick is over 6 inches and you ain't eating somebody's ass, motherfucker, you rude as fuck.
Oh, yo,
Like
disrespectful,
it,
disrespectful. Oh my god, because I can't. And first of all, no, that'd be the first thing you gotta do. You gotta eat my ass. I don't care.
Yeah,
That's it. Make it tickle a little bit. Let it wink. That's it.
especially it's like when you got a big ass, it's like respect me, bitch. Treat me like the person that
Okay.
it's like you're gonna pull out your giant horse cock, and then all of a sudden, or your giant horse stick, and all of a sudden, I'm just supposed to take it with no preparation. Fuck all the way off.
Oh fuck no. Oh fuck no. But one of my biggest pet peeves about a top is they don't have the patience for a bottom to prep. And like to pamper themselves and everything. I don't care if it takes me about 2 hours or three. Like you gonna let me like clean my whole entire bowel movement until I don't see no type of color. Period.
Because this is the thing. This is the part where I'm supposed to say, always act responsibly. Use a condom. but,
But ain't nobody
but
gonna nowadays. Everybody's I'm a prep.
well, this is my thing. Especially with my man and me, because this is the thing. It's and I didn't know this about myself till he let me top the first time.
Yeah.
Apparently, I thought my dick would be usually when I'm jerking off, it's one load and I'm done. All of a sudden, nope. He's this weekend. I'm not kidding you.
Mm-hmm.
This weekend, I dropped 10 loads. 10.
Holy shit! You went on a marathon, baby.
He split. He split it. He split it 6 and 4, and then on the both of the times, I'm he went to kiss me. I'm I need a second. I can't feel my face.
Oh my god, no, you were feeling
I love you. I will touch you in a minute when I get the feeling back in my hands and my face. You caused this, bitch.
I know what you oh man, oh my god, baby.
But it felt amazing. Don't get me wrong, it felt amazing.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I know that's right. I know that's right.
So that's the thing. I'm used to somebody where it's because let's get real. If you use a condom, my man, again, he drops them too. It's boom, boom. Literally, he'll fuck me till he needs to take a break. And then that's when we'll stop and cuddle. It's so obviously it's yeah, of course they're not using condoms. If you're only having sex one time, fine. But it's if you're going through that boom, 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 boom. I mean, let's be realistic.
Mm-hmm.
No, and plus I will say this: if a black man uses a condom, chances are he's got a wife.
Oh my god, you know what?
He got a girlfriend.
I thought about that shit too. Because I was like, yo, if they use a condom, they just don't want they just don't want their baby mama to know or nothing. I mean, well, shoot. Well, I mean, me and my man, we don't use condoms. I mean, we just
Of course not, because you're with each other.
we know we good. Yeah, and I don't know. I mean, how do you feel about? Have you ever experienced like foursomes, threesomes, all that shit?
Threesome, yes. In fact,
Okay.
actually, he wanted to do one this weekend. He wanted to invite one of his friends, and I was all down for it. But
Yeah.
when I got there, all of a sudden he's like, I thought about it and I got jealous, and I'm like, oh,
Oh no, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. There's not.
I know
Yeah.
that's so sweet.
That's really sweet. Yeah,
Yeah.
like, cause he really thought about there's some people that they'll go through with it and then they get excessively addicted to it. That's the problem. There's not really no self control. I'd rather deal with somebody that they want to do it just a couple of times just for out of experience, but they just know
Yeah.
where home is at and whatnot. Um, Cause I dealt with one relationship where I don't know what it was. I guess he thought I wanted to do threesomes all the time because I mean back in the day I was super young. I was like 19,
Yeah.
so I was probably like a whole little sex rabbit or some shit. Um, but he wanted, I guess, like he thought I wanted to go ahead and spice up the relationship, and oh well, we can do threesomes and all this shit. But really, I can really care less about it. I was just like, okay, well, I mean, we could do it if just out of an experience, and we could talk about it and
Yeah.
laugh about it later and whatnot. But then it got kind of like a little carried away, and like it went from one person then another person then another, and I'm just like, I could care I could care less about you know having threesomes or whatever. Like, I could just fuck you and I'll be straight, you know.
Yeah. It's like that's my thing. It's like I always experimented more. Well, granted, with my first ex, we were apart a little bit, and like we originally were open, and then like all of a sudden when we moved in, we got like, well, I stayed open. He basically
Hmm.
only did stuff with me,
Yeah.
but it's like my thing was that's how I actually found out that I liked getting my ass eaten was from like
Oh man,
and
that was the best thing. I'll be like, oh thanks.
yes, by the way, as I always say, kids, I'm not a role model, so like
Oh yeah, no, don't count on me. I mean, I'll tell you some real shit, and hey, you either take it or you leave it. I don't care, but I'm in no role
because
model.
because the first person I had my ass eaten by was a crackhead.
Oh shit.
I always had to. Well, in my defense, I did not know he was on crack when I went to go pick him up. But I drove
Well,
to. Well,
shit. I mean, there was one. Okay, so back in like Parliament House days or whatever, I didn't like.
yes,
I was super, super drunk. I was super drunk. I was stupid horny, and this guy just came out of nowhere. I'm going inside my car, and like I didn't know. Well, I didn't know for one. Like when he came up to me, I'm like, oh, okay, a nice looking, fine, tall black guy and shit. And I was just like, oh man, like this guy is fine as fuck. I bet he got big ass dick. He just looked like he got big ass dick. Um, and we just started chit chatting or whatever. And of course, I was horny, he was horny, so we like parked at like some area in Westmoreland, and um, so like we found like a nice little area, and all of a sudden, like midway of me sucking his dick and shit, he just came out of nowhere and asked me for like money. And I'm looking at him like I just stopped like midway, and I was like, "Huh?" He was like, "Oh well, I really just, I don't do this gay stuff like that. I like to basically saying he liked to bait gay guys for money." Because he's very stereotypical, thinking, oh well, you're gay, all you want to do is have sex or whatever like that, which I wanted to get my dick wet, so whatever. um and then when he asked me for money, I was just like, it went from this to real quick. Like it turned me the fuck off because I was like, okay, you're a bum. um so I'm gonna just drop you off. But by the time I dropped him off, it was a whole crowd. So like, across the street from Parliament House, there's that little back street and shit.
yeah,
So I didn't realize it was a whole group of male prostitutes, and so he was a male prostitute, and I didn't know that shit until I dropped him off, and then like one of the guys, he looked like a crackhead. He was like, yo, well, what's good? But he was like all twitching. He looked like a squirrel.
yeah.
He looked a little crazy. He looked like that boy was nuts. And he was just like, nah, let me come in. I'll show you a good time. And that shit just freaked me the fuck out. So I had to dip. I was like, oh hell no, I'm about to
See,
die.
see, if that guy had acted like that, I wouldn't have. So the thing was, I drove to Castleberry to get him. So it's like,
Mm.
if he had been acting like that, I would have left him off
Oh
the hook.
yeah, yeah, it would have been.
But he
He
was
was
like
very
calm.
cool. Yeah, he was very cool. He was very cool. We were just chilling. We was just talking about like the most random shit or whatever. And then he just came out of nowhere and just like it just got mad awkward. Like it got super awkward, and I was like, "What the fuck am I going? Like, what just happened? Like we were just cool. We were just vibing, and you just ruined everything because you want to ask me for money. But then everything started to click. So I'm like, oh god,
See,
like what?
that is like the least sexy thing when somebody asks me for money. Now this is my thing. I am very like I am very liberal when it comes to this sex movement. There's like I have no problem with people getting their life. And my thing is
Oh yeah.
like if you're gonna offer me money, I'ma take it. Like,
Oh yeah, man.
yeah.
It gotta be reason. It gotta be a reasonable price for me. It definitely gotta be a reasonable price. But yeah, I just he was just asking for $20. Like that was
See,
it. Just $20 to just go get something from the store. And I'm like, you want me to you want me to give you neck for $20 so then you could buy some shit from the store? Like no, hell no.
first
And I
first
and
of
hmm
first of all, why did you have to leave the Parliament House to do anything?
I don't know. I don't know. I like a little spontaneous. Like I like the little spontaneous shit. So of course, I could do my little thing in the parking lot and whatever. But
They had a whole ass field that you could have parked out there and gotten like
hey, but them girl. Hey, listen, when I tell you, when I was younger, them girls talk. I'm like, them girls talk, and I was very, very private, and I didn't want nobody in my shit talking about oh, well, he hoes around and all, Nowadays, this is like, bitch, I don't give a fuck. Like, hey, if you call me a hoe, I guess I'm a bomb asshole or whatever like that. But back in the day, I was just like, oh, I didn't want nobody in my business. I was very
yep.
exclusive with myself and whatnot. But now I'm just like, man, I don't give a fuck. I'll ride my man's dick right on the fucking, right on the roller coaster at SeaWorld or some shit. Like, I
Yes.
don't care, but yeah, I mean, yeah, back in the day, I was just I was very introverted.
Right. By the way, that's coming from somebody who got fucked in the field of the Parliament House. Like,
Hey.
I got my dick sucked out at the beach multiple times after I was done performing.
Man,
Like,
let me tell you, I think everybody has experienced the Parliament House and what that man. There was a time I was giving this guy head out of nowhere, and the security guards caught me and was like, "Hey," and we had to go ahead and run. And
wait. They actually stopped people from doing that shit?
it was one of the guys. One of the guys, he was just like, "Hey, what are y'all doing?"
What?
Because we were in the side. I guess like we were like in the side of the Parliament House in the back, and I'm telling you that cranberry vodka will make you turn into the biggest slut. And I used to love that shit. I was like, I don't know what it was. I just had like the obsession of being just like, oh baby, I gotta be a slut. But then like in my head, I'm very mindful, and I'm like, oh my god, but if I be a slut, I don't know what to do. I can't find a man. But I mean, nowadays, this is like, okay, well, I already got a man, so I can be his slut.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was very interesting. It was a very interesting
Yeah.
time. God bless Parliament House. That's what I can say.
Yeah. I will say that was so great. That's the reason why I said I would never move back to Orlando when that place closed. I'm like, fuck that. There ain't nothing to do here now. Like, shit.
Yeah, like right after COVID, everything
Yeah.
was so limited. They were very, very limited, and I mean, again, like they will have their spots, and again, either somebody either file complaints or just businesses change, and now you're just very, and especially now it's very limited. Like really don't know what the fuck to do on either a Saturday or whatnot, or oh you gotta go to Southern Nights or some shit. But I'd rather just stay my ass home if there really ain't nothing to do. Well, if I'm
Yeah.
not booked. If I'm not booked, like nowadays, I used to, want to go clubbing and whatnot, but if I'm not getting a booking and I'm not getting a check, I ain't going nowhere.
See, that's my thing too. It's like if I'm not outperforming or I'm not out supporting somebody that I know, then
Right.
like it's
You're
like
just like,
I'm
what's the purpose? I'm spending my money. I'm spending my money when I can make the money, you know. Um, and that's what made me realize because before, in the beginning when I was making all this money as a dancer, I was like, oh my god, I got all this extra income. I'm gonna just splurge it all.
yeah.
And now when I really think about it, I'm like, and especially like seeing my man and how he prioritizes and stuff, I'm just like, yeah, I really do need to get my shit together. And now look at me now. I mean, shit. Now I just make bags of money and I don't know what to do with it, but put it in my savings account.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
See, see, my thing is around here, like I'm in small town South Florida, I don't get booked. Because my thing
um,
is,
but you got to try. That's where you have to travel and all
yeah,
that
and
good
it,
stuff.
and it,
Yeah.
and it, and it ain't worth it. As I said, I'll start performing again when I'm moved to Detroit. Like I know there'll be plenty of places. Like
Oh
because
yeah, you're gonna know all the connections, especially Detroit.
yeah, this is my thing. Like I don't lip sync. I always sing live. So it's like
Oh
that's
shit!
hmm
I know that's
yeah,
right.
and that's why it's like they're all. This is the way I look at it. They're all intimidated by me because most of them are in their 40s and I'm not even 30 yet. So you know what? It's like
I know that's
um
right. I know that's right, man.
and plus this was better anyway. I met like through this I met like somewhat famous porn stars. Like as
Yeah,
I as I said, they've all been around here. It's like I now know Ricky Roman. Like
nice.
and what?
Okay,
Yeah. Yeah,
I
like
know that's right.
it's like big deal. You can perform in here in Fort Lauderdale and like when they book you down in Fort Lauderdale because they ain't got nobody else to perform.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh my god. Just yeah. I know what you're talking about,
Yeah.
but I'm not even gonna spill that tea. I'm not gonna spill that tea yet.
I know. So, what made you want to become a dancer?
I mean, in my young 20s, what made me want to become a dancer. Um, what was it? It was one day in Pose, and I started saying, like at first, in Parliament House, of course they have their buff, bold dancers and all that stuff. So I'm thinking like, man, I gotta be like these people, like very buff and manly and da 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 da. The whole stereotype type of shit or the fetish. And then like when I got to Pulse, I started seeing the slimmer guys and like they're doing the shit pole dancing and whatnot. And I'm like, oh my god, like I was inspired. I loved it. I loved the shit out of it. And especially, so after a while I really couldn't because of my relationships and stuff. They really didn't want me to dance. And I even, brought it up. I was like, maybe I want to be a dancer one day. And they were like, oh, well, if you do that, then this relationship is over. Like they were just so close minded about it. But when I really thought about it, I'm like, well, we can make all this money and put it in our savings or whatnot and do whatever with it later. Um, and so I got to be 27, yeah, like around 27. Um, who was that? I met this guy. Yeah, I met this guy. He's like we're really great friends now, and we were just chilling at this place uh, one of the clubs after the pandemic, called Irish Shannon's, and we saw all the other go-go dancers. And when I'm like, oh my God, like I'm already in my element. I'm seeing all them shaking their ass, they killing it, whatever. And I was very just like, oh man, fuck it. Like, if I don't go ahead and do this now and I do this shit later, I'm really gonna regret it. Um, so one of the promoters, Nima, uh, he just walked out. He just randomly walked up just to check on everybody in the venue, and I just went ahead and just poked him in the shoulder, and I was like, "Yo, when you gonna put me on these boxes?" And he was like, "Huh? What? You want to dance?" I was like, "Hell yeah, I want to go ahead and dance. I want to show you what a dancer should be dancing to. Like, get this shit going. I'm the life of the party." And the guy I was talking to was very supportive about it. He was just like, "Oh, show them what you're working with or whatever." So on my first day, I was nervous as fuck. I didn't know what to expect. Um, I was just like, oh God, I was talking to all the other dancers and they were just like, they were nervous too, but they were in this shit for a long run. And then of course you have your overly confident, cocky dancers and all that stuff. Like they already been there, done that. Um, my first day was pretty straight. I ain't gonna it was pretty good. I did make a cute little coin. Cute little coin. But I was definitely in the beginning an underdog. I felt like I had to like prove something to the promoter because he was very, like he already had his top three every week. Like these other dancers are going to be dancing every week, and if whoever is out sick or whatever, um, then he'll put a replacement in.
Yeah.
So then after a couple nights, like I was just like, listen, I need a spot. Like I need to make a spot. I need to secure this spot. So it was around Christmas time. Oh my God. Yeah, it was around Christmas time. And it was just me and this one other dancer because all the other dancers, they were traveling or, during the holidays. And all my friends were there too. They were around VIP and celebrating one of our we ain't friends with that bitch no more. But around that time, we were celebrating this girl's birthday, and we were very nervous. Me and this guy, his name is Keith. Shout out to Keith. Oh my God, it's such an amazing soul. And we were just like, hey, you ready? You're like, oh, let's get this shit cracking. And we really didn't expect it, and especially in the holiday, to be that crazy packed. We're talking shoulder to shoulder packed. And I remember my first like $100 bill being slipped into my panties, and they were just like, this is yours. You better keep this shit. Hold on to it to your whole life and shit. And then it went from being 100 to like 250, then from 250 to 400, 400 to 500, to just like it just kept growing and growing throughout that night. And I'll say like in the most of like in 2 hours of probably like a good $700 around the time. And the other guy too, he made about like 500. And the promoter, he walked in like always, checking around. He saw nothing but our boxes just flooded with fucking money, and it was just flooded with money like you couldn't even see the floor, type of shit. It felt like a whole strip club. And after that, that's when he was like, "Yep, he's the moneymaker." That's all he just kept calling me. "Yep, you're the moneymaker. You're the moneymaker." And after that, that's when everything just started to change. Other like venue people were trying to look for me. They were like, "Oh, whoever's this dancer, if anybody knows this dancer, please let him know I'm trying to book him." And from there, it just kind of hit. Yeah, it just kind of hit off. Kind of hit off after that.
Work. So like, this is the thing. That's why this bitch
Okay.
I'm going to say allegedly, I don't know, has a manager.
Mm. Whew, child. I try to have a man. I try to have a manager. That
Well,
shit.
okay, let me put it this way. Some guy hit me up saying he was your manager. That's how I was able to like know about you.
Okay. So he was my manager. I know he's talking about. Not gonna put his name out. I'm not gonna put his name out no more. I mean, he was a great manager. I mean, he was at in the beginning. He was a great manager. But I feel as though he had a lot of work that needed to be done. And what I mean by that is that, like I just told him, I was like, if you're really gonna go ahead and book me, and we're gonna make a lot of money, because I told him, I was like, if you really want to do this and make money, I will split portions with you, um, but you're only gonna get the portion of when you can book me. Um, he was like, yeah. No, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna make this happen. We're gonna make this happen. And knowing me, like for the past like 3 years, like I could do it. I can manage it on my own and get my own bookings and talk to the venue people. And like I'm very fast with it. So like every weekend, every single weekend, I have a booking, or every weekday, or whatever day. I have an event to go to. I have this to go to. I have a promotional to go to.
Yeah.
Um, so I told him, I was like, you gotta keep up with the shits. If not, I'm gonna have to let you go regardless. It's no hard feelings, but it's hard feelings. So I'll say like days were going by, then it went from days to weeks, and then I'm just like, baby boy, it's been about a month. Where's the bookings? I'm holding you to, I'm holding you to a pedestal because you told me that you could do it. Oh no, I
Right.
can, I can, and yada yada yada. And I'll say by like in the vast of like a good hour, I end up getting like 7 bookings throughout just to cover the month, because I'm losing income. He's saying that it was slow season. There's no such thing as slow season as a dancer. Like you gotta find where the money's at. There's a whole lot of money in that bitch. So I went ahead and found all my deals that I needed. I even told him like, hey, um there's like photo shoots I need to get booked, because they're hitting me up, but I'm telling them go hit up my manager. Or
Right.
currently right now, like I have like this pageant I'm doing, Mr. Glamorous, and he was managing that, and he was I'm gonna say he was good. I'm not gonna say he was great. Um, I'm gonna say
Well,
he was good on that, but everything else he was kind of like making me lose my money. So I was just like, yeah, on that aspect, when you're trying to book me, I don't think I want you as my manager. Like, I was just like, let's just keep it into like the pageantry world. Like, let's see how you do with that.
well,
And
this my thing is he had so basically he got my name from Cloud and like so like what he wanted to do was he was like, so how does someone become a guest on your podcast? And now
mm-hmm.
in my head, I had to be like, what bullshit answer can I give this manager? Because I can't tell him the truth, which is I have to want to fuck the guest. That's usually like
Yeah,
that's my standard. But I can't tell somebody's fucking manager. That's
yeah.
so I'm like I came up with some bullshit thing
I know that's
and sent
right.
it to him.
He said, boy, I'm just gonna go ahead and wing this shit.
And then
Yeah.
I ended up getting you on my own anyway. So it's like
Period.
that's that
Yeah,
that's
and that's why I was like, oh my god, I don't know why it took me this long, but it's only because there was just so much shit on my
yeah.
plate. And like
Yeah.
I
I
don't have
got
a
you,
manager
man.
anymore. Yeah, and I don't
Yeah.
have a manager anymore. So I'm just like, I gotta manage my own shit.
See, my thing is, I'll answer this question in a minute. So it's like, my thing
Mhm.
is, I don't want a manager because it's like, granted, I'm probably gonna need one at some point. But it's like
Yeah, yeah.
my thing is, it's like I don't want to sit there in like some fucking boardroom where like I'm the artist making all the like creative ideas, and
Hmm.
they're gonna sit there and be like, so what TikTok trends can we do to pump up your music? And that's where my answer is gonna be like, fuck off. There's a TikTok challenge,
Yeah.
like
Yo.
because this is the thing, especially with like my album. It's basically it's me. It's like I put out my warts and all, like,
Absolutely.
and I did. And granted, I did it to like electronic beats that I made myself, but it's like, nonetheless, it's like people are gonna dance to my pain, and then it's like
Right.
that's
Man, but that's one thing. I'd
you know,
rather I'd rather hear authenticity than mediocre.
yeah,
Like there's a lot of mediocre music, and people are not really making albums like that anymore. Like the majority of the time they're making a hit, that hoe burns the fuck out, and then they got to make another hit, and I'm just like, okay, but and then on top of it, everybody's talking about the same shit, whether whatever genre, like pop, like the pop music, hip hop,
yeah,
like they're all are talking. I like hearing different stuff. I like hearing different, like different music. I like to hear, and then especially what's most important about it, I love to hear the lyrics. I want it to make sense. I want it to tell a story. You know.
yeah. Although there's one story that like literally, okay, so like one of my like favorite songs, like got me over the like it got me over this. So like my first sexual experience was I was raped at the age of 22. So it's like I have a song on the album called Rape where I literally basically through the verses and like the chorus, I literally guide you through the whole experience. And it's
Oh
like,
wow.
and like it's to this like intense EDM beat and then like all this stuff. It's like some people wouldn't want to be that vulnerable. And I'm the bitch who's like, basically when people are like, I can't do it, I'm the one who's like, hold my beer. Like, watch, I'm gonna fucking do it. Like,
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, shoot, one
yeah,
day you got to tell your story. One day
yeah,
you got to tell your story. You can't always keep it bottled up, throughout your life, because then
yeah,
you you just gonna be bitter. You're gonna be very
yeah.
bitter, and you can be like, oh my god, why did I say that? Why did I express myself? Because you want to be stuck in that shell. Gotta
And you
crack that
want to, and
shit.
you want to do the corporate thing, which I'm like, I don't.
Yeah,
That's my thing. Where it's like, run this, do that. It's like this is my thing. It's like the reason why I thought about moving to LA at one point. I'm like, bitch, you were gonna get yourself kicked out of every party in 3 days. Because like, let me put it this way: if I got an opinion about somebody, I'm not gonna shut up. If I think you are untalented, I am going to tell you. Who the fuck told you that you should be up on that stage, bitch? Like,
oh
who?
yeah.
No.
But sometimes people gotta hear that shit, like yeah, yeah. I mean, there's certain people that want to be mindful. I'm one of those
Yeah.
that I'm gonna tell you either it's terrible or it's
Yeah.
it's gonna be good. I mean, I'm very, like I'll be very, I'll try to be very respectful, but I'm still
Yeah.
gonna go ahead and give out my perspective in it.
Yeah. So anyway, where was I? Oh, so you already said about your first time performing, so I'll go with mine. I actually have one of the unconventional stories because I actually started performing in a straight bar
Oh
at
shit!
at an open mic night. Like
Nice.
I
Okay.
was I was the one. It was in Orlando. It's a place that's still open. Like granted, it's as I always say, I was always the like alternative act because as I said, I make
Hmm.
electronic music, and it's like you have all these bros who are coming in there with their guitar, basically doing the same fucking shit the whole night. I used to sign myself up first, and I used to thump these electronic beats in this tiny bar and like
Right. Right.
sing and like scream to the audience and be like, "How the fuck you doing tonight, Orlando?" and like wake motherfuckers up. Like,
Oh
so I
my
did.
god.
I did get in trouble one night. So
Oh really? Oh,
so
I
what
mean,
what had happened was, so I had ended one of my sets by like screaming "motherfucker" and then going into a dance break on like the end of one of my songs. So it's like the
Yeah.
following week, I just went to go in there. I went to sit down at my table, like, and then the bartender slash owner came up to me with like my water and everything. She's like, "Yeah, there's old people in the audience this week. Don't do that." I'm like,
Okay.
don't swear in the bar. I'm sorry. I thought in my mind, I'm like, am I not in a fucking bar? Like,
You're at a bar. Like, what the
yeah.
fuck? Like, I would to think, what is this church?
That was the thing. And then they went up to me and then they had like this comedian who did this joke about like a stripper sliding down the stripper pole with her pussy. And they're like, yeah, don't do that joke either. And I'm like, well, then what the fuck are these people going to watch? Like, if we're not allowed to do what we do.
They're gonna see it regardless. So if it's old people or not, I think they already saw it in their time.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, seriously. I'm like, whatever. I'm like, you know what? Fine. I won't swear to offend the old people.
Right, exactly. Oh
It
Lord.
was, I think it was like not long after that I stopped performing there because my thing was
Mm-hmm.
I was doing, and I don't know if you've done this as a performer. You probably have.
Mm-hmm.
I used to do 2 shows a night.
Oh
So like,
yeah,
so
that's me
like
all
I,
the time.
so like I would be leaving my house. I had an early night, but nonetheless, I would be leaving my house at 7 p.m. and not getting home till 12:30 in the morning, and then having to get up the following morning at 4 to be to my job at 6. Like,
Oh my God, that's
yeah,
literally that's me. I would have to leave if I were to get like double booked. There was times where I would get triple booked, and especially like during the weekend. So I would leave out of my house by like 2 to get to an event by 5, leave that event for an hour, go to the next event by at least 8 p.m., finish by 10 to get to another event by 12 to finish by 2,
yeah.
and then I have to go to an after party event that don't finish until like 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning. So that's like a all day type of thing. And then the next day I have to do my 9 to 5.
Yeah, it's just it's not feasible if like performing is all that you do. That's
Mm-hmm.
a great life, but when you're having to work like, and the thing with that is like when I say I had to go to work from 6, I had to work from 6 to 8 p.m. So I had to work
Yeah,
all day.
yeah, no, that's
Yeah,
no bueno.
it's
Hell
like,
no.
so it's like eventually I had to stop going to
I'm
one of those.
gonna,
It's like listen, it's
yeah,
like I just I can't be doing it. And like
oh
once I
yeah,
left once I left Orlando, I tried to do performing down in like South Florida when I came here,
mm-hmm.
and then that stopped like right after the pandemic. And I'm like, let me just do a podcast, like save up everything. It's like
Yeah,
I'll eventually. It's like in Detroit, the thing that I've like about Detroit is that like it seems like it's more accepting to me because my thing is I'm a long form artist. That's the open mic in me. It's like
yeah,
I can do 4 or 5 songs at once. So it's like how I do is like you split it down the middle. It's like you give people like 2 originals, 2 covers, so that way it's like
yeah,
you're introducing them to something new, but also giving them something that they know. And
right. Oh
it's
shit.
a
Well, I know
it's
that's right.
it's like why not? It's like so when I get there in summer, it's like book me. Like
Oh yeah.
and like I am the person like going back to that open mic days when they were when they were in between hosts, they would be like dead on
Oh
some
no.
nights.
Oh
And I used to be the person who's like, because I went first, I'd be like, keep me on. I'll do 4 or 5 songs. I'll do a half an hour. I don't care. Keep me on.
yeah.
Like, and it's like a lot of people would be intimidated by that. I lived for it.
Oh hell yeah. Shit. I mean, my man does. There'll be times where he does three. He has to do 3 hour show, and I don't know how he does it. I'm just like, boy. Well, okay. As long as you got the stamina.
See, I can't. The most I could probably, if I had to, I could probably do 2 hours.
Yeah.
But that
Oh,
would be
goodbye.
at some point. There's like that would be like I need my stool at some point where I could just like sit and sing, and it's like I'm not
Mhm.
around because I cannot dance and sing for 2 hours straight. Like
Yeah.
I can't do it. I
Uh,
could maybe do at most like 45, but it's like
yeah,
it's a
literally.
lot.
I would, as a dancer, like, I mean, we dance consistently. Like, some people, there'll be times where I forget that I'm dancing, like, and I will dance like nonstop for maybe 2.5 hours. If we had like a 4 hour shift, I'm still dancing. I'll probably dance for like a good 4 hours. Um, and of course, I'll take my little 10-minute breaks and whatnot. But then after that, it's nonstop. It's just, yeah. And then I forget. I'm like, oh shit, it's time to
Well,
go the fuck home.
it's because you're also probably drinking, right?
Yeah, yeah, because I can't do that shit sober. I'm sorry. It's like,
Uh, I can only because I had like a night where
mm,
this is my thing.
mm-hmm,
I was in my like early 20s, like
mm-hmm.
I was in like the beginning of like my mid 20s, and it's like
Yeah,
one of those points where it's like I was getting bought drink after drink after
the
drink
drink.
after drink.
Oh my god, how many drinks? How many drinks you was
It,
saying? Hmm.
I want to say it was at least 7. Might have been like yeah.
Oh, but you know what's so crazy? That's the same with my shit, and that's when I believe I think I have a drinking problem. Because if I could reach the 7 and still feel like, man, maybe I just need some more.
My
Yeah,
and my thing was I had never done that before, but it's like you don't know at that age to be like, nah, I'm good. Like
yeah. Like there's no
yes,
limitations to that age, and you're just like you just want to keep going because it just makes you feel good until like it starts to really hit you.
but then I had to drive an hour home,
Hmm.
and then about 45 minutes into the drive, I got pulled over by a cop,
Oh,
and luckily my dad came to save me. Otherwise, I would have gotten a
okay,
DUI. But it's
gotcha.
like that's what stopped me from drinking when I was performing. Not because like my thing is also I'm like if I'm gonna be singing for this time, it's better for me to have water anyway. Because like
Oh
what
yeah,
people what people don't realize is that like alcohol dries out your throat, and like
no, and it's terrible too. So now usually I would every time that I'll take a drink, I'll drink water. Just the whatever how many
yeah.
cups I'm drinking the amount of water, just because I'm not trying to dehydrate myself. Because I've seen so many dancers like fall out. Like they'll fall out because you would tell them, hey, you need to drink something. No, no, I'm good. And yeah, they fall out on their ass, and then they look like they're just twitching there.
But again, that's being younger. It's like
Oh yeah.
now, and plus, like in some ways, like granted, you don't know this. Sometimes it's nice to be the sober one in the room because it's like then you get to
Yeah.
see, then you get to see everybody. Then you get to see everybody else acting like assholes.
Oh my god.
Yes.
Yeah. I feel like that's like the most annoying though. Like because well, it's entertaining. It's
Yeah.
entertaining to me because I'm like, wow, like this is how we all really act and whatnot. Like this is our really authentic self. And I'm like, damn, is this how I fucking act? Like I act this wild?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just it's crazy.
Well, see, I had a drag queen around here who had like shit talked my drag, and like I went to an event for the first time out of drag, and as I said, she was drunk off her ass, and
Yeah.
then all of a sudden she was hitting on me. I'm like,
But wasn't you just dissing me?
that's my
Bitch.
point, bitch. Like seriously, like
Bitch. Look. But they always, just like they always say, hey, your enemies is your biggest fans.
that's the thing. And she's like, she's like committed when she was drunk to be on this podcast, and like she hasn't been on here yet. And my response is, I don't really need you,
Oh yeah,
but
no.
like, because it's like this is the thing. It's like, as I said, it's like in a in like not this weekend, but next weekend. It's like I'm doing an interview with somebody in the UK. Like
Yes.
I think I'm doing good without you. Like I'm just saying. Like
Well, you doing fucking great. I know that's right.
yeah,
You're doing absolutely great.
thank you.
You're welcome.
So okay. Well, I think we've already kind of answered this. So it's like, how have you reacted when people have inappropriately touched you?
Oh God. I kind of laughed it off. How can I put it? Because again, there's like a lot of obnoxious people, and especially in the club. People are drunk, and they really don't. I mean, the alcohol is what's giving them the control of doing all that shit and or that bravery. Um, just don't get testy with me. Yeah, I'll giggle it off, and especially I'm on the clock, so I ain't trying to be belligerent. And then, of course, the venue people are going to be looking at me as a difficult worker to work with. But at the same time, I need to be respected too, because yeah, I could be a dancer. Yeah, I'm dancing, sexy and
Yeah,
all this shit, and I'm trying to grab your attention and give you the trance and whatnot, but that
yeah,
doesn't mean that it's okay for you, or I'm giving you the enable to just grope on me, or just grab on my shit, because
right.
that shit. I mean, it's what I signed. It's not what I signed for. And majority of the time, like even the venue people even say it too. Like, don't let them, grab up on you, because then, you're a representation of us too. So then they're gonna think like, oh, well, you can just go to this place and just yeah, you can just grab on these dancers and they'll do whatever they want with you and shit. And it's no, that's not how it flies, baby. There's a difference. I'm not a prostitute. I'm just a dancer.
Yeah,
And but I had
and
I had somebody yesterday like that shit too. He was a fucking mess. Like, he was a fucking mess. I could tell he was having a great time, but he was just very touchy feeling, and like he will only give you like a couple of dollars. Like, it's not even big money. It's not $20. At least give me fucking $20. That's the minimum. But I was just, I was a little grossed out. I ain't gonna cap, because I was just like, it just didn't make no sense to me. I was just like, okay, well, get the fuck off me. I
yeah,
mean, but the only way how to, get away from them is just, just walk away. You ain't gotta do no extra shit or nothing like that. I mean, I ain't gonna find, there'll be times where when I am a little drunk, that other side come out of me, my little
yeah,
alter ego, and I get verbal, and I'm like, what the fuck you doing? Get the fuck off me, man. And and they'll just be like, oh my god, I'm so sorry, and I'll be like, well, I ain't sorry.
yeah. See,
Shit.
and like to that point, it's like I theoretically I know B baby now. Like this is my thing. And it's like, yes, I like the way his ass looks. Even me, as I said, I know him. Even if I saw him like shaking his ass and if I wanted to touch his ass, I'm gonna ask his permission before I fucking do it. Like that's just
Yeah, I
that
wouldn't. Exactly what you said. That,
yeah,
like, I wouldn't mind if you, because you're being respectful. Like, you're
yes.
being respectful because you're like, hey, before I even do that,
Yeah,
can I? Or there'll be
yeah,
times where I'm like, oh well, I could be cute with you and be like, oh well, you can, I don't mind. But
yeah,
then there's other people that just come out of nowhere, and again, they look at you because you're a dancer. They will
yeah,
try to like degrade you into something that you're not, and it's like, nah, we're not gonna fly with that. I'm not gonna fly with that shit. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna do you how I did the other guy with the boot in his face.
yeah,
But yeah, I mean, again, you're gonna have good people. You're gonna have the annoyance, and
yeah.
it's you know.
See, my thing is it's only happened once. It happened. I was actually visiting Orlando. I'd moved back here. It would happen at
Mhm.
Parliament House. I was like sitting there performing, and I was performing in the Bear Den, so it's like Bear Den doesn't have a
Oh
backstage, so
my
it's
god,
like
I used to love the Bear Den. I used to
yeah,
like play pool and that shit all the
yeah.
time.
So it's like I was just sitting there minding my business, and I had some drunk fucking asshole literally say, "I don't want to see you without your wig," and rips my wig off my head.
First of all, that is first of all, that again, that's like groping on the dancers, touching their
Mm-hmm.
dick. You never touch a lady's wig. That's so
No,
bitch. I will fuck you up after that. Like that's disrespectful. This is my boundary. First of all, you all up in my face, first of all. And
yeah.
then I gotta smell that liquor up and nah.
And it's like I kept very calm because I'm like, you're lucky I'm in a good mood tonight. Because if not,
Yes.
this platform shoe would be coming
Oh
untied and it'd
yeah.
be going right
Oh,
upside your
Paul,
head.
break
Like,
loose. I'm gonna have a big crack on your head, and that's it. Like you're gonna have to go to the ER after that shit.
because I'm like, people think it's cute. It's not cute. It's rude. It's like, first of all, it's like, yes, he's up there entertaining you, but it's like, remember that's still a person. And like, this is the thing.
Absolutely.
This is what I have to say, and I don't know how common this is in Orlando, but I will say this: it's like
Hmm.
you're not gonna know the difference between a trapper and a go-go. You have to ask them which one they are, because it's like this is the thing: a trapper's not gonna mind you grabbing his ass. A trapper's not gonna mind you fingering his hole. He's trying to make more money when
Hey,
he's
yep,
done.
yep.
But it's like just because somebody is up there like shaking their ass doesn't mean that they want you to fuck them.
Yeah, hell yeah. And especially, I don't want nobody's dirty ass fingered. I don't know where your fingers have touched, landed. You could have picked your nose for all I know, or dig in your ass. And now you touching my parts. Like, I just think of these things. Like I'm just like, but I don't know. So now, which is so weird, but nowadays I do look at people's hands, and especially when I'm dancing and shit, because if you're tipping me and I see some like black line underneath your fingernail, like baby, you did not wash your hands. You didn't wash your hands. I don't know if you washed your ass, or I don't know.
This is yeah. It's like who was it that brought up that point? It was who was it? Ace Wild, yeah, from Go Go for the Gold. It's like yeah, yes. I'm name dropping. I've been able to interview bitches. That's what happens when you a
Period.
podcast host. You get to know people. But he's like when he mentioned that, I'm thinking, what was it? He said he's like, I done seen most of you walk out of the bathroom without washing your hands, and now you
And
want to put that
then,
inside of me?
yo,
Like it's
but
like
when I tell you, you see that, and it's crazy. It's crazy as fuck because I've seen so many people. They take a whiz and they pass the sink, and I'm like, but you forgot to wash your hands. Like what the, like hell no. Like now I don't even want your dollar. Like nah. I'll give it to somebody else. They'll probably need it more than me.
yeah, it's like I don't know. It's like granted, it's like yes, like is there a point where like well, I would say with some people it's like they can say like money accidentally touches certain places.
Yeah.
First of all, I'm just gonna point this out. This bitch has a fat ass. So if you're saying like somehow the dollar accidentally touched his hole,
Oh yeah, no. Like
like
you're gonna have to like
like
literally put your
like
whole finger in that bitch because going through those booty cheeks, that's it. Like that's a whole mouth.
yeah,
That's a whole
it's
fucking
like
mouth.
that one no accident. Like you did that on purpose. Like
Yeah. Yeah, and it'd be so weird. I'd be like, what the fuck? You're only gonna give me what, $1, $2? Nah, No, you could put it right here, right on my hip, not nowhere else. No, you shit. Not like yesterday. Yesterday I had a ball. Like yesterday I had like there were a couple of guys that were like, whatever. Like, yeah, you cute, but you're only giving me $1 or two, and I'm like, okay, well, what am I gonna do with that? But then like, there was this one guy, really really cool. I just met him. Yeah, I just met him yesterday. His name is James, and super super nice person. He was coming from vacation, and he just came out of nowhere, and like he just started staring at me, and I'm just giving him like full blown a whole trance, like, bitch, I'm lingering your ass in here or whatever.
Yeah,
And I really didn't like, I was just like, whatever. Like he was, he was just there, like, great vibes. He wanted to go ahead and have a nice conversation with me, bought me a drink, and we just got to know each other and shit. And out of nowhere, while I was dancing, he just started throwing nothing but just stacks, just straight stacks, and it was just never ending. He was just throwing it everywhere. The whole
yeah,
floor was just full of fucking money, and I'm like, okay, so that's the type of guy that could touch his finger in my booty hole,
yeah.
But nah, I
But
can't deal with.
but usually, I had this explained to me by somebody. Usually, those are the guys that aren't gonna want to do that. Yeah,
Exactly. All he wanted, yeah, he loved what he saw. He loved seeing my ass and all this other kind of shit. But he really just wanted to talk. And that's what I appreciated. Like, I love people like that because that's one of my things. And especially as a dancer, I want to talk to you. And, and whatever the case is.
Now, I will say this: if granted, I will always tip people I know more than people I don't know.
Uh huh.
But let's just say if you, Cloud, and Justify are all working at the same bar, it's like I'm gonna have to decide because I know all three of you. So it's like who
Right.
gonna who gonna get actually. I don't even gotta say it. You got the best ass out of those three, so it's like clearly you're gonna be the one who's getting the more money. Like,
I don't know. I just love doing my homework. You gotta do your homework sometimes. It's not, like, there'll be some times where you will go into a venue and you'll be like, yeah, I'm gonna make a lot of money, and you come out with shit, and then there's those days, maybe, but you gotta do your homework. You gotta know what these people want, and not only just sexually, but like, you know what can you do? Can you do shit different? Can you move different? Yeah, you can have your signature looks and all this shit, because then they know, yeah, that's B baby. But when
yeah.
they see some new shit going on, like, they're just like, nah, he's not just only a dancer, he's an entertainer. Um, so yeah, they just, they gotta do their homework.
Well, okay. Here's one thing I want to know because I know this happens in some places. Are
hmm
there stage fees where you have to perform, or is it like,
So other venues that I go to, majority of the venues that I do go to, no. That's majority of it. That's basically like if you go to a strip club, um, like there's some male strip clubs you have to pay house fees and all this other kind of shit. There is some venues that you do have to pay for like stage fees, but it depends. It depends where you at. Um, but where I go to, nah, they don't charge me shit.
because this is my thing that blows my mind, and like to me, I'm one of those people who's like, so you're having these people in here,
hmm
you're letting motherfuckers treat them any way that they want, because let's get real, places have security, but it's like security doesn't see everything,
Yeah,
and you're not even paying them like the measly minimum wage
yeah,
people pay servers who work off of tips.
yeah.
Like to me, I'm like, that blows my mind. If I had to pay to perform somewhere, Guess where I'm not performing? The place where you're telling me I have to pay
Yeah,
to
that
perform.
you have to charge. You're basically charging me what you're going to pay me regardless.
Yeah.
So, like, just an example, like you charging me $50, but you're basically reimbursing me what I'm already spending to perform. So, what is the purpose of that? Is that like a deposit that you're holding and then you're gonna release it? Like, this ain't no fucking hotel. Like, bitch, give me my fucking money. Like, I'm here to perform to get paid. Um, it just that to me is kind of corny. I mean, it just don't make no sense. Why do I gotta go ahead and pay y'all to perform or to just do any of that? And especially in the strip clubs, like I'm already working. I'm already working for tips, and I'm working 10 times harder than what you're doing because you're just sitting on your ass while I'm paying you. You know.
That is such a good point. Like, that's mind blowing.
Yeah, and the same thing for entertainers. Like, y'all busting your ass. Y'all are very like again. Y'all are giving out the entertainment to the guests, so then the guests can come back and see y'all again and all this stuff. So I don't really understand as to why y'all would have to pay any type of fee. I think that's doesn't make no sense. It's just, they're cornballs for that.
No, and it's like, because my view is if you're doing that, like, clearly you can't afford to have these people here. So it's like, that's just you
Right,
showing that you can't afford.
right,
Like that's my thing. Like, I will say this in general, most people would be like, as backup dancers, they'd want people who are professionally trained, all this stuff. I'm
oh
like,
yeah.
no. I'm like, no. From me, I will look for a go-go dancer. This is my requirements.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have a fat ass. Like, that's literally my requirement. It's like, that's the only requirement I have to hire a backup dancer. It's like, everyone's like, even if it comes to talent, I can get a choreographer to teach you what I want. Like,
Exactly.
I want an aesthetic that's looking, because this is the thing. Like, as I said, I am a big fucking bitch. Like, I am 6'3". Like, trust. I want people who like. It looks kind of like I don't need some like skinny ass fucking twink standing next to me. Like,
Yeah,
no.
no. Yeah, no. No.
Okay, where am I? Okay, so I'm gonna rapid fire these questions. Okay, so have you ever hooked up with someone who's tipped you? Obviously, like outside of now, you're in a relationship. I understand the
Oh
answer
yeah,
is
yeah,
no.
yeah. Let me see. Have I ever hooked up with somebody that tipped me? I did. I definitely did. I don't regret it. It was fucking fire. He was fine as hell. Yeah, but
Mm.
like, I mean, it took a couple times though. Like, it definitely it took a couple times for that to happen. Because at first he really wanted to like. There's a thing with with the guys and shit. Like, they get this obsession of fantasies, so they fantasize first. So they want to know you, but they really don't want to know you because they want to know how mysterious you are as a dancer. So the guy, it took a couple weekends to even get to that kind of level, but he was just so fine. So I was just like, yeah, let's go to my car. I'm gonna have to suck you off. but yeah, a little sunshine.
See, never. I did have a dick sucking story, but mine was not. I was the recipient. Like, I had a guy who had a cross dresser fetish who like he wanted to. Again, this happened at Parliament House. He wanted to suck my dick. So like 6, 7 times we went back to the beach and like I let him do his thing and he sucked me off. And
Mm-hmm.
I will gladly, if you want to do this, I will gladly do this whenever you want.
Yeah.
So okay. So What are your thoughts on how the LGBT community is being treated today? On how the LGBT community is being treated today?
I would say nothing. I mean, okay, so as of today, I still feel like we still have so much. Uh, I get the world have so much to learn from us. Because I feel like today we're still being as the same as what they do back in the day, and we're being mistreated. Yeah, we can see, how can I put this? Like there's part of it that there's a lot of equal shit, but then at the same time there's still not. There's still like 50-50 of, you're still going to be accepted, but then at the same time you still have people. It's basically, I'm not going to even go ahead and compare it to racism, but like it's kind of like our little gay racism. Okay, like,
Yeah.
people, you're still going to get the stereotypes, you're still going to get the ignorance. People, eh, they gotta learn, they really gotta learn from us. But I don't, yeah, the only way how you feel like you're not gonna get mistreated if you don't let nobody walk all over you. Um, but I feel like just nowadays, and especially, yeah, the evolution of us. I feel like the progression is there. Now we can express ourselves publicly, regardless if they talk shit about us. It doesn't even fucking matter at this point, because I'm forever gonna be unapologetically myself. But yeah, I still feel like, yeah, we have our progressions, but there's so much work to where the shit gotta stop, with all this hate. So much hate in this world. But we're still fucking here. And bitch, you're not gonna try us.
See, I've looked at, first of all, I totally get that. It's like, my thing is with that, as I always say, and this is the sad part of how the United States is today, with how things are right now, it's about as good as it's going to get,
Yeah.
which is sad, but it's like,
Yeah,
I feel we got to like focus more on international issues, because it's like, yes, we have these few things happening to these trans and non-binary people in the United States, but we have people over in the Middle East who are fucking getting killed just for being gay,
just
just
for
for being
being
them.
gay. They're getting
Yeah,
stoned. They're getting all this shit. Like, John, you can't go nowhere outside of the U.S. If they even know that you are, yeah, you're gonna end up suffering the consequences way worse than what we're dealing with right now. Like us in the U.S., I mean, we just be thankful that we got our rights,
yeah.
and some people out there in the world, yeah, they're getting stoned the fuck down just because of who they are, and they can't help it.
And it's like, with that, it's like, granted, yes, is there potential this year for things to get worse? Absolutely, but it's like, this is the thing, and I'm going to try not to make this too political. It's almost like it's basically when you get down to the general election
Yeah.
in November, it's like, stay the same or have things go worse. It's like, there's not going to be anyone who's coming in theory.
Mm.
I know one person, but they're basically like, every news outlet, everyone's out there is like
Oh
basically like
yeah, yeah.
shunning this woman, Marianne Williamson, to the side. It's like, but she's the only one who's actually gonna sit there and fight for all of us, not just this like,
Absolutely.
it's not this thing of like, it's just fighting for gay people. It's like, no, she's trying to fight for everybody. But it's like, y'all are so focused on what I'm calling, I'm gonna say it right now, it's the old man race. Like, let's get it real. It's
Yeah.
this old man versus that old man. It's like, whatever. It's like people are like, it's not a time to be political. It's not a time to make change. I'm like, Yeah, this is what I want to say to those people. Y'all do realize if we never made change, some of y'all, not me, because I came from a different generation of immigrants, but some of
Mhm.
y'all would still motherfucking be owning black people in your house if we didn't sit there and make any sort of change.
Yeah, dead ass.
It's like, so this fact of we can't make change, that's what America was built on. Like, it was essentially we came here for change, and we came here and we killed off people. Again, history books don't point that out. That's exactly what
Yeah,
happened. That's
yeah,
exactly
I
what.
know.
Think about that when you're eating your turkey this year.
Yo, because baby, what they tell you in the history books, they don't even tell you enough.
No, they don't.
It's just
Believe me,
limit. Yeah, it's just limited amount of information. That's it. You got to learn everything else on your own. You just got to figure it out.
that's exactly why it's like to like close this out. As queer people, it's not like, hello. You think we were taught anything? It's like, because one thing, who is it? As much as I don't always agree with her, Whoopi Goldberg did point out on The View before.
Hmm.
It's like black rights and gay rights were basically started to be fought at the same time, but people don't mention that.
Yeah, yeah. I heard when Whoopi said that, and when she said that statement, I was like, that is true. I mean, hey, we've been trying to fight for gay rights for a good hot minute. I mean, yeah, it's been a hot minute.
And it's like, granted, as I always tell people, it's like, are you going to end homophobia as a whole? No, of course not.
Nah,
We can't.
nah.
It's just like how you can't end racism. It's like you're always going to have people who aren't going to want to learn anything. They're going to be like, it's like, but
Yeah,
that's how we were taught as kids. That's all we need to know. And I'm like, yeah, you were also taught as kids that cigarettes were good for you.
right,
Like,
exactly.
like it's like it's like for some of y'all were taught that like heroin was a medicine.
Right.
Which I'm like, if we're
If
supposed to
they go
be
ahead and if they say that heroin was a medicine to me, I'm probably be cracking the fuck up because bitch, that's drugs. But you gonna die
see,
off of that shit.
see, I will admit, I have not taken drugs. I've thought about it. Like, trust, there's some moments where it's like, fuck, if I was like, I'm not talking about weed because weed comes from the earth. It's like
Oh yeah.
it's like fuck. It's like if I were to get to some weekends, like you have those times where it's like, if I just did like a little bit of coke, like on a weekend,
Oh
just a
baby,
little
yeah.
bit, so like,
We all had that those days. Like, oh honey, let's try some powder. Let's try some sugar. All this shit or whatever. And especially like when I first danced, I think it was more frequent. But I'll say more when I was with my ex around the time because he was very excessive. He didn't know when to stop. So it went from there. But then I'll say like the worst drug I've ever done, and I really couldn't believe it. But I really didn't know about it. I was very ignorant around the time. I had to educate myself with it. But it was it's like a liquid, clear liquid G or whatever the fuck.
oh yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't know what it was until they told me, and they were like, it's a liquid version of meth. So I was like, bitch, I'm doing what? I'm like, oh my god. But what really like scared the fuck out of me was one time I was I was hanging out with an old friend, and he would do the party and all this other kind of shit. And he went ahead and showed me the syringe, which was the G.
Yeah.
And he put it underneath my tongue. I didn't know what to expect, but knowing me, I was just very curious because I was just like, listen, in your life, you're always going to try something one time. Just get it
Right.
over with and don't go back. And what I appreciate about my mindset is that I do that. It's just that one good old time, and then I'm not gonna like it after that unless it's weed. You know, I'm a weed smoker or whatever. Like I would
Yeah.
love that shit, but everything else, like, you know, I'll pop an ecstasy. That'll be like when I'm on going on vacation. You know, I'll go on vacation on that shit. Or Molly, I ain't doing that shit. But like when I did the G, um, I how is it? Like my vision started to rumble. Like if you were experiencing like an earthquake type of shit, like your vision just starts to shake. You can't really concentrate. So then all of a sudden, you just feel your brain shut off. Like that's it.
Fuck.
And I woke up. I literally woke up. Um, I woke up on the floor, and the person said I was gone for 3 hours, and it didn't even feel like 3 hours. It felt like 30, like maybe like 15 minutes the most. And I woke up and I'm like throwing it all up. I didn't feel good. Um, and the person was just like staring at me. Like he was just staring at me while I was on the floor. And I was just like, well, why didn't you help me, or why didn't you pick me up from the floor? And he was just like, well, I had you lay down on your stomach so you won't drown. Like you won't be drowning in your, in your throw up or whatever the fuck. And that shit was so that shit was scary. And then like you really don't have you lose, appetite for like a couple of, I'll say by a week. I'll say a week, you lose your appetite. You start to feel like something. It feels like if there's a fish or some type of worm like just swirling all over your like brain, because your brain is still trying to get back to the way it was functioning. um and that shit, yo, it's like the worst. And then like you gotta hydrate all day long. So that was me all day, drinking water all day long, just trying to recover and pee it all out, get it out of my system. Um, but never I will fucking do that shit again. That shit was terrible. And on top of that, like I think one of my friends ended up dying from that. Um, like because he was over excessive, but well, he ended up dying off of fentanyl. And
Yeah.
and nowadays fentanyl is like one of the
Yes.
biggest drugs that people are dying from. But he overdosed, and his supposed friends went ahead and just left him in front of the hospital and shit. So it was just like, yeah, I'm not trying to do no hard drugs. I think I'm straight here.
See,
Um,
my whole thing with it is like, I would only like, I would really have to. Granted, as I said, I haven't tried anything yet, but it's like, I would really have to know somebody before I would even like try it. You
yeah,
have
yo, but that was the thing. Like I knew him. I knew the guy. Um,
well, like somebody I've been friends with for like years.
like
That's the only way.
you're like, ooh.
It's like I'm not gonna trust somebody I met like an hour ago. Like the fuck,
Oh fuck
like
no, no, I ain't never doing that shit. No, the person I did that with, like I knew him for like 8 years, but I really didn't
oh,
know that. I really didn't know he did that type of shit,
and people
until
don't tell you.
yeah, until like he just because he always kept bringing a bag with him, and I was like, what's in that bag? I'm just like very curious, and he'll bring a bag with him, but it'll be with his clothes and all this other kind of shit because he used to always rent out like hotels and shit, and
Oh,
that shit was just happening, and I was just like, yeah, I ain't never doing that shit again. It it was so, yeah. Yeah, it was just nasty.
Exactly. See, I'm the friend who's like, let's be clear. I rent out hotel rooms now, but it's not for like drug
Yeah, it's
purposes.
not. Yeah,
It's not for drug purposes. As I said, I live at home. It's usually to fuck. Like literally,
right.
that is me. Like, although I haven't done it recently, although I'm probably going down to Fort Lauderdale at some point. That's the thing. Like, I was having car trouble till recently, and like I just got my car fixed, and now I'm like, I want to get the fuck out of here because like
Uh,
after
yeah.
after being stuck up here, I need to just like go out and find something. Anyway, okay. So to my final question, what's the biggest misconception about you?
My business. My biggest misconception about myself. Ooh. Um. I don't know. What's your biggest misconception about yourself?
Well, I've been told too by people. One of them is that I'm intimidating, which
Hmm.
like I mean I get it. Like as I said, I'm not short. I'm 6'3". Like I wear not these glasses. These are one of my pairs of interview glasses. I got these in a brand deal, but like the sunglasses I wear when I go out and perform and all that, they're a pair of my
Yeah.
mom. They're a
Yeah.
pair of my mom's. So like it's like a pair of her Ray-Bans because my thing is like I spiritually take her energy with me every time I perform
Yeah.
and allows me to be the insane fucking ass bitch that you see when you perform and like I yell and shit
Yes.
because like it's how I release everything out. Anyway, so it's like yeah, so it's like and I'm wearing heels and like I can understand not wanting to approach somebody who's 6'5" or like 6'6", 6'7", 6'8", like
Yeah.
but I mean I am nice until you really got to give me a reason to be a bitch for me to
Yeah.
be a bitch, like especially upon like first meeting because it's like let's get real. I mean, you probably go through the same thing when you go out and perform. It's like when I'm in everything and like I'm outside, I'm on. Like
Yeah.
I'm on. It's like you never know how people are going to react to you. It's like because let's be clear. Does everyone cause a spectacle when I walk in a room? No. Do a lot of people cause a spectacle when I walk in a room? Absolutely.
Right.
And it's like and it's like I just have to get used to that shit. And as I said, I'm very nice.
Yeah.
I hug people. Only time I'm only like other than like touching my hair, it's like the other thing is if I'm performing in a bar and I'm like having my track playing in the background,
Hmm.
do not stop me to take a picture.
Oh yeah.
Like
No. Fuck that.
that happened once again. This that happened at the straight bar in Orlando, and it's like I had
Hmm.
somebody's like, "Oh my god, I want to take this picture from my daughter." And like already my track was playing on my iPod, and I'm like, I smiled for the picture, and it was like I had like I was doing "Do What You Want" by Lady Gaga, and it's like I had like an
Yeah.
intro, and then all of a sudden I had to go like on that like the ha, I had to like hit it right there, and I'm like that shit kind of throws you off when you're a performer because
Oh
it's like,
yeah. Yeah. No. Absolutely.
but I'm like,
I mean, I could say I'll say my biggest misconception about myself is people uh, they will definitely say I'm very intimidating. Like when I go and walk into a club, a
yeah,
bar, or whatever, they think like I'm one of those Regina Georges that just go in that bitch and think they're the shit and whatnot. They think that like my demeanor is super mean, but it's just the eyebrows. I'm sorry, y'all. It's just the eyebrows. It's the arch. Um, but honestly, like I'm one of like the most sweetest people in the world. Just
yeah,
don't test, just don't test me. I'm grown, you grown, we grown people. And especially as a dancer, um, they think just because I dance that they could be fresh with it and whatnot. And it's like,
yeah,
listen, I have morals, I have respect for myself. I'm just doing this because of the money, and not only just because of the money, but I'm trying to fulfill my own shit, and that's basically it. Like, no. But other than that, like, bitch, even if you don't, if you look at me, any certain type of way, it would look like it's gonna stop me from making my money. Fuck no,
Yeah.
fuck you. So yeah, I mean, yeah.
Eh. And then the other one is that I've been told I'm shady. I don't think I'm
Wow.
shady. I will say
They
this.
taught me that too.
I'm very opinionated, but
Yeah,
it's like hello. It's like I'm a fucking artist. What do you expect me to do? Like not
yeah.
have opinions about other people? And it's like,
Yeah, they be telling me I'm shady, and it's just well, not like they be like, "Oh, you just have a little shade to you or whatever." I just can't put my finger on it, and I'd be like, "No, baby, that's just me. That's just me being honest. It's not even nothing to be funny about or whatever. Like, yeah, I'll throw a little shade or whatever just for
yeah,
fun, whatever. I'm a little jokester. I love to crack jokes. I like to be funny, weird, and animated and all this other kind of stuff, um." But because one of my biggest pet peeves is, bland people. I hate bland people. Like
bleh.
if you gotta pretend to be somebody or think that you're like the hottest shit out here and whatever like that, I'm like, you're just making up stories for yourself, like to make yourself feel good. Like, bitch, I know I'm weird. I know I'm all the above. I just have a cute little face. That's it, and a
Yeah,
fat ass. But
yeah. And again, you cute. It's like my thing is, as I always say, people, it's like, yes, I am a Cancer. That's the nice, like, sweet side. But I'm also double Pisces. That's the shady side. Where it's like,
period.
that's what that's why it's
I'm a
like
Gemini, so it's kind of like you're either gonna get one side or you're gonna get the other, and that's it.
it's like of course I have to like because this is the thing. Originally my plan was, and I know this is morbid.
Hmm.
I thought I was gonna be dead by 25. So I figured I'm like, if I'm gonna be like running my mouth, it's like,
Hmm.
well, fuck. If I'm gonna be dead by 30, I might as well just like say whatever I've got on my mind because I'm gonna be dead. Like, even if
Hey,
you mad at me.
fuck it.
But now that I'm almost turning 30, I'm like, shit, maybe I should shut up. Like,
I know when
may-
you get to that age, that's when you start to be a little more mindful and shit. So you're just like, oh, okay.
but this is my thing. It's like, I am the person who says, like, look, if I believe somebody has talent, I'm not going to call them untalented. But if they're
Right.
untalented, I'm going to say that they're untalented. Like,
I mean, I'll probably say it in the most cutest way. You know, uh, nice gowns, or nice gowns.
okay, Aretha.
Right, like
Okay.
a little something like that, or I'll probably just say, hey, it's probably wasn't your best, but there's room to grow. There's room to grow, or whatever. I mean, or if I just don't like your ass, I'm probably just say, bitch, that's just fucking terrible.
Probably like, trying to think, what's the meanest thing I've said on here? I think I said to somebody, it was somebody who's kind of like a thought rapper, who's like a gay thought rapper. I'm like,
Yeah.
the world does not need another gay thought, or the world does not need another thought rapper. Like, we're good with 31-year-old ass only being able to talk about twerking and having sex. Like,
Yeah,
it's
nah.
it's like
Baby,
I'm sorry.
we need a gay J. Cole. We need a gay Kendrick Lamar. Like we need a good spin rap because we already got Saucy Santana. We already got those. We already got, like all the other like other rappers and shit like that. Like we need somebody that is very just, hey, like authentic, not just somebody that I've already heard on the radio and and see them on the shade room and shit. Like I'm done with that.
And this is the thing. Like, I would say there are certain rappers who can do both. An
Hmm.
example I will give is somebody who I love who's been on here before. His name is Pretty Boy Rock. He has like that thing of he can do like the like thoughty songs, but he can also do like the more serious, more like
Oh
introspective
yeah,
songs.
yeah.
It's like if you can do both, that's fine. But if it's like your one lane is like it's like somebody who's like, and now
That's
remember
all you
he
could
said,
talk about.
yeah, and it's like he said his like inspiration is like Nicki Minaj. I'm like, I'm thinking, bitch, you basically the gay Cardi B. Like, seriously?
Oh
Like,
my god, yo, freaking yeah, no. That's why I always respect my best friend because he's an artist and
no.
he's very versatile with everything. He sings, he raps, and it's not about the same shit. Like like literally we could just talk about one simple like topic. We could say, "Oh, well, let's rap about a balloon." And he would just come out with all this crazy punchlines and bars and all this shit. And he didn't write it. It just came out of his head and bam,
Mm-hmm.
but that's the type of artistry I like. I just don't like mediocre all the time. Like, yeah, we can have a fun song and yeah, have a thought little season from time to time, but if it's consistent, I already heard that shit before from you and it's nothing new. I'm just like, okay, I'm straight.
No, it's like, first of all, to this, and this is how I'm going to end on. It's like, I saw Cardi B's quote unquote freestyle that
Oh my
came
god, but I
out.
love her freestyle. I ain't gonna cap. I'm not gonna cap.
But
Well, I mean,
you,
cause me, me and Cardi, we low
you,
key related.
you, but you know it ain't a freestyle. There's no way it's a
Oh
freestyle.
no! I mean, I see why she said it was a freestyle, and it's not. We know what a freestyle is. Like when Lil Kim came out, Foxy and Cameron and all these
Yeah.
like rappers that really did ciphers type of shit. That like those are freestyles, but I mean, honestly, I really don't even know why they call it a freestyle.
She called it a
If
freestyle.
it's pre-recorded, if it's pre-recorded,
Well,
and you're making it into a track.
it's not. Well, okay, you could say it's a free. I would argue you could say it's a freestyle if you can actually write your own lyrics. But we all know that Cardi B doesn't write her own lyrics. She
Yeah,
openly
I
admitted it.
mean,
It's like,
but she didn't. One thing I can say, she didn't hide the shit. Like some people hide their shit. They'd be like, "Yeah, I wrote that. I wrote that. I wrote that." Like Nicki, her pen game is crazy. It's
yeah,
immaculate. Megan's immaculate. Doja Cat's immaculate. Who else? Asia Brat the dog. Uh,
yes, I love it.
like
I love Asian doll.
those
Yeah,
type of rap, like I can definitely respect that. One thing, I wouldn't call Cardi a rapper. I'll call her an entertainer. Like she's an entertainer. She will entertain the fuck out of you and give you a show.
no,
um Maybe like she's getting help from her husband or from other writers and shit like Partisan Fontaine. um but I wouldn't really consider her, especially when she said, yeah, I get maybe, she's starting to progress as a good rapper. But I would still call her an entertainer. Like she's a great entertainer. Um, but I don't know. Yeah, yeah,
see, it's weird because like in the like, I know in the rap game that's not common. But it's like in the pop music game, it's almost like everyone's like, yeah, it's not uncommon for me to take a song. My response is not that I would ever search for a song, but if somebody was like, I have this song for you, and I felt that it could truly express me,
hmm
I might consider it. But it's like, again, because my thing is, I'm not about making hits. Like, that's probably why, like, with this album, there's no, like, pressure on me to, like,
yeah. Well,
make
to
hits.
make an album, there's time. You got to take your time. Like you can't rush that shit. A lot of people, and that's where a lot of people always slip up. They're like, oh well, I need a due date. I need a due date. No, wait until your album's done,
We'll
then
see.
give you stuff.
this is the thing where I say, well, in terms of my album, it's like the album's already done. In fact, I've already started writing the EP that's coming after it, and it's like from that, it's like now I need to get in the studio because it's like
Right.
I can't add anything more to this album. I can't afford to add anything more to this album. It's like I will put everything in, but at my age, it's like yeah, as I said, like this is an album that honestly I tell people it's like in total, if you listen to every song that's on the album, it's like it theoretically, hypothetically took me 10 years to write, but it's only because it's like I'm putting songs together where it's like or 9 years to write. It's like I wrote some of the songs in
Right.
2015 and I wrote some of the songs in November of last year. It's like it just all depends, and it's like I just wanted an album that was like cohesive together. And it's like I don't care if I wrote some of the songs in 2015. It's like if I feel that it's still good and like it doesn't sound dated to me. That's the one thing where
Yeah.
it's like my formula is my formula, and like I'm never gonna stop being me and doing me. And it's like
But see that, and that's it. You ain't gotta. Sometimes you don't have to impress everybody to make a successful album. And you throw what you love because other people are gonna love that shit too. Like other people are gonna love that shit too. Either some people are not gonna like it, or some people are gonna love it. And I'll rather take the risk to throw out what I genuinely love versus people, like in this industry that controls your shit and then you're stuck in a 360 deal. So
that's exactly like honestly, I hate those. And like I know I've been here with
yeah.
you. I've been here with you a while, and I'm gonna let you go because like clearly, this is if anyone's like there might if I have more questions that I want to ask this bitch, I'm gonna invite you back on because it's like I
Yay.
let
I
I
loved
love
it. This was
yeah I
great.
yeah I love getting to like when I can like sit down with people because there's some people it's like I've had interviews where it's like I've had interviews obviously as long as like 2.5 hours, and I've had
Mhm.
interviews
Right.
as short as 37 minutes. But it's like the 37 minutes one, this is what I'll end on. It was somebody who was a winner of a show.
Oh shit. Okay.
There was one of the winners of Go Go for the Gold.
Okay.
I I can put that out there. I've theoretically interviewed both of them. I have interviewed both of them. So it's like I'm not gonna say who it is, but my fans already know who it is. So it's
Yeah.
like anyway, motherfucker showed up an hour late,
Oh my god.
and like I was trying to act calm, but it's like in the back of my mind I had one of those like
Oh yeah, like bitch, you got me fucked up. I will listen. That's one thing you know, my biggest thing is if you're gonna be, late like that, you gotta
yeah.
communicate. You gotta so then that way, the interviewer is aware of that, and so then that way there could be some type of accommodation or something like that. But if you just fucking up the interview just because you made that choice, then you
Well,
don't really deserve to be to be interviewed.
but it's like with that, and it's somebody clearly that like I haven't had back on, and somebody I haven't even approached because it's like
Hmm.
it's like yes, but it's like yes, you won this show, but you got to remember like you're still out here like having people trying to book you. Like my thing
No,
is
absolutely.
with that, and it's like that, and people who have this like arrogance about them to ask for money.
Mm,
And
nah.
I I had somebody who was they were fourth place. They were fourth place on Hot House,
Yeah.
the show, and it's like you. At this point, I had already interviewed that winner of Go for the Gold. I'm like, motherfucker, you came in fourth, and you have the gall to ask me for money. You didn't even win the show. Like, you didn't even get like second
Oh my
place.
God! It went ahead and asked you for money. Wow, wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. Craziest one. This one I'll end on. So like
Wow.
I have no problem outing this person's name. The porn star, Topher DiMaggio.
I used to work for him, in Sarasota, when he had that bar before it closed.
He asked me for $1,000.
But for an interview,
Mm-hmm.
you could have made that $1,000 to save your. No, you know what, Brian? Don't be saying nah. No, no. But I mean, but it's true though. You could have saved them $1,000 to save your bar. No cap. But um,
but
but
it's like
he seemed cool. Like he seemed like a cool person when I first met him at Sawmill. Like he seemed pretty cool. Or you know what? I gotta probably see that damn. I probably gotta see his. See, I'm probably thinking about another porn star that I know. But hold on, I think I do know Topher because I've seen some of his. But let me tell you about.
he used to be okay. If it's who, I'll tell you if it's who. He used to be an Andrew Christian trophy boy.
Oh, okay. So we ain't talking about this. Okay, we ain't talking about the same person. Okay, so whoever I'm talking about that, I'm so sorry. But but he's boring. Like he's a boring porn star. I don't know. Like his videos don't fawn me.
And it's like my thing is, it's like granted, yes, I had to like. There's some people. It's like I don't. My thing is like I don't care. It's like you're just a person. Like
Yeah.
let's get real. It's not like first of all, I'm hitting you up like let's get real. Don't get me wrong. I think certain men past their 30s are like hot as fuck, but it's like bitch, you are in your like mid 30s. Like let's get real in the porn game. That's retirement age. Like
yeah, you gotta just quit it right there. That's why when you said Topher, I'm like, damn, I haven't heard that name in a long time.
That's what I'm saying. It's
Like in a long time. But again, like only because I wasn't really a big Topher fan. Like he's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Like he's gorgeous. I just feel like he's a like I just wasn't really like fond of his videos. I was just like, okay, it's boring. Like it's boring.
No, and it's like my thing is like granted, my view is like I'm gonna say this. I'm not 100% sure about this, but it's like I'm pretty sure like he and Ricky Roman are around the same age, and it's like let's be clear. Now I'm gonna say this: I love you, Ricky, but you did not make it easy on me.
Oh, baby.
But this is the thing. He explained it to me after we got done with the interview. So like we got along really well. Like as I said, he's gonna be coming. We're gonna be talking about it. He's gonna be coming back here probably sometime next month. But it's like I had to work for that one, and he's like, I wanted to prove that you were a genuine person. And what's he found out is like, because this is the thing, there are so many people where it's like that thing of they're like they get approached by people all the time,
Right.
So it's like you get approached because some people want to do like vapid, shallow interviews.
Yeah. No.
It's like that's not my thing. It's like let's be clear, my two, and again this will show like the opinionatedness in me. It's like My
Yeah.
two interviewing inspirations: Wendy Williams,
Hmm.
Howard Stern. Like
Okay.
two people who are like unapologetically like not afraid to be
Just straight
themselves. And
to the
it's like,
point. Like
yeah,
just straight to the point. Like let's not sugarcoat it. Like because there's a lot of other like talk shows that are very like they don't want to hurt their feelings, but they want to say what they want to say, but they're trying to be neutral about it. And it's like with Wendy, she's just very straight to the point. Like, bitch, I don't give a fuck. Like, this is what's going on.
which
Yeah.
is why I miss. I know, like
I mean, it's her show.
her story is so sad, but it's like,
I
yeah,
know, yo, literally. Like, I've seen the first part of it, and I'm just like, I don't know if I could finish that shit.
oh, the documentary, yeah, I haven't even tried to look. I'm like,
It's
I
so
don't know if I
sad.
want to.
It's so sad. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, man, God bless her. I mean, cause she was she's still an icon, And there's no other talk show host that is gonna do shit like that. That bitch
No,
was
it's like,
that bitch was mother.
and it's like you replaced her with Sherry Shepherd.
Nah, I'm straight.
Well,
I mean, I love her. I love her as a comedian. I love her as a comedian. But I feel like nowadays, like either artists or comedians or whatever, now they want to do talk shows, and it's like, um, what your talent's falling out? I don't fucking know. Like I don't know.
well, see, this is my thing. Sherry Shepherd is is a funny comedian, but
Yeah,
Sherry Shepherd is also a fucking idiot. Like, let's get let's let's get real. Okay, that clip of her on The View when she said, "Oh, I don't know if the Earth is flat or not." She said this in 2011. Like, what?
girl, you gotta do
Like,
your research. That's all I can say. I mean, shoot, just gotta do
it's
your
like
research.
it's like it's like so what? It's like you can't go to a store and buy yourself a globe made by Randy McNally. Like, the shit's
Right.
round. Like, it's like because they don't teach that shit in the Bible. It's like, let's be clear. There are talking snakes in bushes, and there are locusts in the Bible. What? I could go on.
Oh
Anyway,
my God, I'm screaming.
I'm gonna shut up. I'm gonna have you back on because it's like I'm gonna get myself in trouble. So I think I already have. But anyway, with that being said, no, I really am going. Yes, it was definitely a pleasure getting to meet you. I loved getting to meet
Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate you, and
you.
definitely you'll see me more often, man. There's
Yeah.
I'll tell you right now, I can't say a lot. I am gonna be participating in a reality TV show. That will be filming next month. So I don't know when they're gonna be airing it. They don't want us to like spill the beans, and so this is kind of exclusive, especially for you. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Yes.
Um, but definitely, it's gonna be one of those shows where, um, to elevate your business and your careers and all this other kind of stuff. Of
Yes.
course, it's gonna be something very similar. I'm not gonna say it's gonna be something similar to what Love and Hip Hop or whatever like that, because of course they need their drama, they need all this stuff and whatnot. But I think it would do some limelight, especially with the social media and other bookings and so forth. But that's all I can say. But we'll keep
Go
that in tune.
go ahead. Like, I can keep stuff. Well, okay, I can say this. I can now publicly say this because the show was already aired. So
Mhm.
I had this person. I don't know if you've heard of the show. Have you ever heard of the show For the Love of Dilfs?
Yes.
Okay, so okay, from season 1, I have no problem spilling your tea, bitch. You shouldn't have told me in private. So Phoenix from season 1.
Oh, shit. Go ahead. Go.
told me before season 2 had aired that Nick Mass was going to be on the show.
Damn. So they already stole the tea and all.
I'm thinking, well, they didn't say it on camera. They told me this in DM.
Oh, they told them in person, but yeah.
Yeah, but I'm thinking, I'm pretty sure you weren't supposed to say that. Like,
yeah, no. Yeah.
This is theoretically in like July or August when they were filming the show.
Oh,
like,
shit.
But it's I'm like, don't worry, bitch, I ain't gonna say anything. And it's like, I'm like, Nick, if I have any chance of getting you, because I'll tell you off camera who I'm working on trying to get now. So I will say, from this season, I did interview Anthony. I interviewed him a couple weeks ago.
Yes.
He was nice, but yeah. As I said, from last season, I got Phoenix. I interviewed Prince Joshua, and then
oh shit, okay.
I interviewed Milo. Milo and I actually became friends until that bitch cut me off. Like,
oh shit.
I still don't know why, because like this was I'm gonna spill some tea. I'm gonna spill some tea. I promise I'm gonna finish at some point. But it's like so we were like friends. Like I had him on here 4 times.
Okay.
And then like all of a sudden I went to go like look one morning at like I noticed that I'd lost when your follower count is like as like small as mine. I noticed that like I'd lost 2 of my followers, and something told me like, so I searched for okay, so let's see, I don't have this person. Then I went to go type in, I'm like Milo, and then I saw no results found.
Oh wow, so he blocked.
No, he didn't block me. He just unfollowed me.
Oh wow, damn. And there's no reason to it.
I mean, I think I might know why, because this is my thing. I loved him as an artist. I literally think he's like one of the most talented musicians ever that I've ever met.
Yeah.
But he's like, now he like completely like kind of like he basically contradicted everything that he said on here. So like he said, I'm not doing OnlyFans anymore. I'm not doing underwear modeling. I want to focus on being a musician. Now, so let's see. His last interview was in November. Come February, he's now, and he also said he was off of Twitter. He's now back on Twitter. He's now back on OnlyFans. He's now back to underwear modeling.
Oh yeah, because he knows this. He's probably either losing the fan base or he's losing the money. So
that's exactly what.
Yeah, that's the only reason why you're like, yeah, I gotta make this money again, so I gotta get back onto this shit, you know.
Well, it's because he moved to DC. He lived there for a month. He got fired from his job, and like all of a sudden now it's like, which I'm like, the thing that I think pissed him off was, and I said this, I didn't say this directly. I didn't tag him in this, but I was absolutely talking about him.
Yeah, you were just talking about, yeah.
I said, like, some people view being an artist as, or view doing music as simply putting on and taking off a hat.
Right.
I will always be a real artist.
Right.
And I
exactly.
and I saw that he saw that, like I saw on the views of like Instagram, and then like all of a sudden that was one day. The next day he unfollowed me. I'm like,
yeah, this honey, is shady. That's shady as fuck.
That is. I'm like, if this is the thing, it's like, if you think I'm coming after you and like you think I'm attacking you, you call yourself a straight shooting son of a gun. It's like, why not have a conversation with me?
Exactly. I mean, that's the. I feel like that's the only way how anything's gonna be resolved. You just gotta, hey, I'm just trying to figure out what is this, and a lot of people they make up these little ass like funky stories, and oh well, it's because of this, and I'm like, really, like I guess, I really, and then I just don't even worry about it no more. I'm just like, yep, gotta go. That ain't my business no more. We ain't friends.
That's
But I
exactly
know you're
why.
gonna come back.
This is the thing. Like, literally, this is how the timeline went, and this is. I don't know if these two are correlated. In my mind, it is. It's like he did an interview with me, and then all of a sudden, the minute he announced his relationship with his man, basically from then on, cut me off basically
Oh wow.
entirely.
Not that
So,
mediocre move. You meet your man and then you cutting the whole world off.
and I'm thinking I'm thinking good luck, bitch, because this is the thing, and I literally meant this to him, and like I mean this to anybody. It's like
Yeah.
the one thing that I will always say, and I have said this about every guest who's been on here, and especially the ones who I like get close to, I actually give a shit about the guests. Like
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
it's like I'm the person who's like, if I see you struggling, I'm the one who's like, okay, bitch, let's talk. I'm here, like, say what you need to do. It's like, because at the end of the day, it's like that's just who I am.
Exactly. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like
I mean, cause shit, don't nobody like a fake bitch.
and it's like my thing is like I'm not fake because this is the thing.
Absolutely.
I'm not gonna say like I'm not gonna say, oh, he's ugly now because he's not my friend. He's extremely attractive.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say he's not talented because he is, but it's like for him to say I've had an evolution, quote unquote evolution, where you go back to doing OnlyFans, back to going underwear modeling, and like back to being on Twitter. That's evolving. I
Yeah.
thought evolving was supposed to be going forward, not
Backwards.
backwards.
Mm,
That's just me.
yeah. Well, that's one thing. You go backwards, that's a lot of catching up to do.
And it's like, here's the thing. It's like I wouldn't have called you out on it. I wouldn't have said anything about it. And this was the other thing. I was being very generous as a host. I said, I literally, when I messaged him, I'm like, you could do an interview with you could do an interview with you and your boyfriend, like showing that I was being supportive. But
Yeah.
it's like, you want to cut me off? It's like, that's fine.
Yeah.
Like,
And the fuck with them, Hey, you want to cut me off, and then I'm gonna move forward and elevate while you're bitter.
yeah.
Hmm.
Any, anyways, this is. I promise I'm ending now. Your camera's cutting off, so we're good. So this is.
Oh yeah.
This
Okay.
is. I
Okay.
know. I'm ending right now. I promise. This is Gay Out
No.
the City. I'm your host, Prince Electro Diamond, and I hope you've enjoyed.
Period. Thank